look really familiar. I've seen you before, haven't I?
Barry.
Barry.
Barry Allen.
Right.
It's fine.
Sorry.
Some people are just meant to be in your life.
What am I going to do with you?
Well, I can think of a few things. Might need a stretch first, though.
You told me the dead don't want anything. Either I'm willing to do whatever is necessary, or I shouldn't be up there at all.
Which is exactly why I can't be.
You can't kill murder. You can't get revenge on evil. You can only fight them where they live.
Hey everybody, welcome once again to the Fandom Zone podcast. Schnicked. I'm Charles Skaggs. Welcome to episode 79 of the Fandom Zone podcast episode. That stuff. And with me as always, Karen Lindsay.
Hello.
Hello. What's up, Karen?
Nothing.
So here we are for the week ending October 15th.
Is that a TARDIS? No, not a TARDIS.
It's Davros.
Davros.
It's the Davros Funko figure.
Nice. What I showed
Detonate the reality bomb!
Look at what I showed you. Yeah. These are cookies.
Yes, I see that.
Sent to me by a listener named Kelly.
Oh, hi, Kelly.
Yeah. She listens to Made of Steel, and I think she probably listens to us here.
I hope she does. Because hopefully we get some of that Made of Steel crossover there. And I really hope so, because I'm supporting Supergirl this week with my Superman t-shirt.
That's right. That's right.
Keeping it all in the Kryptonian family, the House of L.
Tyler Hoechlin.
Is it Hoechlin or Hetchlin?
Hoechlin.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I kind of figured that was coming.
Yeah, baby.
My wife Lori was the same way.
Uh-huh.
She's like, okay, we're getting a Superman spinoff, right? Right?
No, I'm all right with him just being there every once in a while.
I don't know.
I need Superman.
But I think it was a pretty worthy Superman. We're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about the season premiere of Supergirl, obviously season 2. We're also going to talk about Gotham. Mm-hmm. We've got The Flash, of course, Lucifer, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow, the season premiere of Legends of Tomorrow, and Luke Cage episode 3, which is a big episode.
Correct.
We got lots of shows, people.
I have double checked you, and I find that you are an A+ student.
Why, thank you. Do I get a little gold star?
Yep, right in the middle of your forehead, right there.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, yes, we got lots to cover, so we might as well dive right in.
Let's do.
All right. So, Supergirl, episode 1 of the second season, The Adventures of Supergirl.
Dun, dun, dun.
We need that meanwhile music.
Yeah.
To go with that.
Yeah. How's that?
That works. I think that works. Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Teleplay by Andrew Kreisberg, showrunner, and Jessica Queller, directed by Glenn Winter, who tends to direct some rather big episodes of the Berlantiverse.
Yep.
So, and Karen, what's our A, B, and C, if you would, please?
Our A, B, and C stories, very pop culture-y, by the way.
Yep.
A story is, what would we do, baby, without us? And what is that a reference to?
Well, let's see. There's a baby.
No.
Oh, not where you're going?
Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
Without us.
I don't know the song.
It's from the show Family Ties.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so you're going Family Ties. Okay, so that must be a reference to Kara and her cousin Kal-El.
Correct, and Lena.
And Lena, yes. So yes, we get the debut of Lex Luthor's sister, Lena Luthor.
Right.
So,
And then B story, Oh, the Places You'll Go.
which I'm guessing is a Dr. Seuss reference.
That is correct. And that is a reference to Kara.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of Win, but Win is included in the next one, really.
Right.
And the C story is...
Changes time to make a sense. Oh, sorry.
That's exactly it. And
ironically, I was listening to this on the way back from my parents, just not like an hour ago.
Nice.
So, the universe is like trying to tell me something, I think.
Very nice.
It's telling me, listen to some Bowie.
My favorite of his songs ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really great song. So that's...
Mine is Starman, by the way.
Oh, that's a great one,
My favorite
too.
Bowie song is Starman.
Yeah, it's a great song.
I love this single one, too.
So that is, Win.
Mm-hmm.
My speculation about Kat, or our speculation about Kat.
Okay.
And James and Kara.
Yeah, there's a season 2, new network, so some status quo changes.
Right.
All right, so let's get into this. What would we do, baby, without us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, the main thing would be, and you know what? Mm-hmm. I didn't even bring up the main story, like the freak of the week, quote unquote, because that is a nothing story.
Kind of.
It's really just a way to...
Well, it kind of sets him up.
Right. It's the
road.
framework of...
Yeah, Metallo.
Right.
Yeah, we're basically getting Metallo. For those who don't know, yeah.
Right.
But they do say, Lena Luthor does say the word at the end of the episode.
Right.
All right. So let's just dive right in. Tyler Hoechlin, or Hoechlin, I'm sorry. I'm going to get used to that. Tyler Hoechlin, excuse me, from Teen Wolf, I believe, as Superman Clark Kent.
And I learned he was also from Seventh Heaven because Emily knew him from Seventh Heaven.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I didn't watch Seventh Heaven.
I didn't either, but Emily did. So.
All right. So basically, we have there is a Kara sees this TV report of the Venture spacecraft and exploding during its maiden flight.
Exploded.
It's all splody. Kara rushes to save the craft, aided, of course, by the arrival of her timely cousin, Superman. So Superman has finally decided to stop texting Clara or emailing her.
Exactly.
And
texting.
Yep. Yes.
It's the Doogie Howser texting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and apparently Clark is a very slow typist, so what's up with that? Yeah, so that's all done. We finally get Superman proper. And let's just say how grateful we are for that, because that was great.
And by the way, hello, aw shucks, Superman.
Yes. Yeah, so if you're one of those people that was kind of let down by Zack Snyder's take on Superman in the movie, the DC Extended Universe, you thought he was a little too broody and dark. This is probably a nice welcome Man of Steel, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's so great.
He is. I mean, you get the bumbling Clark, but he's also kind of cool because he and James Olsen have this really super hip handshake move they've developed, and I watched that and I go that is way too hip for Clark Kent.
Well, we are on a CW show.
But they are friends, so, so maybe it's just their friend handshake.
It's so great.
But, yeah, so...
I love he's got that same jacket.
Yeah.
Clark had in the main Superman movie.
Yeah, it was kind of like the same jacket from Superman 2 that he was wearing. That kind of members-only jacket. But he's got the plaid shirt he's rocking. Tyler's Clark Kent seems to echo a lot of Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent.
Yeah, and
which is not a bad thing.
We are being pushed towards that in this episode, 1,000,000% with Miss Tessmacher.
Yeah, that was another thing. Yeah, Miss Tessmacher, and then credit to the actress who plays Kat, Callista Flockhart. Yeah, so
that's a great delivery.
She did a great delivery. I kept waiting for okay, where's Otis?
Right. It's in her elevator.
Miss Grant.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, the reference to the earthquake
Yes.
that he stopped, and
Yeah, so they seem to be working it into the Donnerverse continuity. The Richard Donner, who directed Superman 1 and 2,
yeah,
partially.
it's like a huge tribute to that Superman.
Yeah, and
Love
I think that's a good call because it's a continuity that everybody knows, and that's kind of been washed away by the DC Extended Universe. So it actually works, and like you don't have to go into a lot of backstory about it. You could just say, oh, that earthquake. Well, everybody knows about the earthquake in California that Lex Luthor caused.
Right.
So the question is, like, are we going to see Lex Luthor at some point?
Well,
here's hoping.
Kathleen,
he's in jail. They explain that.
Right. He's in this universe, so.
Yeah. So Superman and Luthor officially enter the DC Berlantiverse continuity, which is very cool. And so so they basically rescue the Venture spacecraft, and they're all like kind of high-fiving each other, and Kara's all gushing like, "It's so great to work with you, Clark, and I've been wanting to do this forever." She's kind of fangirling over him a little bit.
When they land out in the country and those kids come up on them on bikes.
I know what you're going with. Go ahead.
Yeah, and they're like, I usually say hi, and he's like, yeah, me too, and they're all cute with the kids.
Right. Now, you're
sweet.
kind of forgetting one great moment.
What?
When Supergirl tells the kids, I used to change his diapers.
Right. That was so great. Did you have to do that?
Yeah.
So wonderful. I love it.
So the baby of Steel's poop.
Yep, exactly. It reminds me of maybe like Nibbler.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to pick up his poop and it was like.
Yeah. Well, this was still when it was under a red sun, so it was probably still portable.
Okay. Yeah,
remember? Yeah.
Regular poop. Yeah.
It was just regular poop. It wasn't like Kryptonian poop.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was Kryptonian poop, but it wasn't like, Kryptonian.
But it was on Krypton.
Yeah, it wasn't super dense on yellow sun poop.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so we got that. We're kind of catching up with everybody, and that kind of leads into the changes. So I guess we probably shouldn't go into that.
Let me interject here before we change subject.
Right.
There was also that tiny bit at the beginning where we pick up exactly from last season.
Yeah, we should talk about that. So
and
go ahead.
It really doesn't go anywhere, but
they reveal that there's this mysterious stranger inside, male, but we know because we're geeks that by the way, that's Largand, aka Mon-El, from the planet Daxam.
Right.
A race that also is under a red sun and gains powers under the yellow sun. Mm-hmm. So there's just as strong as Superman.
Yeah, and we're not giving that away in the Made of Steel podcast because people have yelled at us on the Facebook.
Oh, well.
But here, here.
Well, as I pointed out on Twitter, hashtag read comics.
Right.
Okay.
Or hashtag Wikipedia, or
exactly.
hashtag Newsarama.
We're not really spoiling stuff that's been out for decades.
Here. Right.
Mon-El isn't just like a completely new character.
Right. They were really interested in seeing where it unfolded and the fact that it came out over the summer. Who was in the pod?
Yep.
They were kind of upset about that, and I was like, well, it could only have been like.
Yeah. Well, it was either Mon-El or Crypto or Streaky the Super Cat,
right?
Which I was hoping for.
That would have been cool. Or both.
Yeah, or both.
Cats and dogs living together.
But I also did kind of want Crypto, because I love Crypto. Or it could have been something else entirely altogether, but
Power Girl.
Yeah, could have been Power Girl. That's true. Could have been, but or who knows. Could have been like Supergirl's mom, Allura, for all we know.
It could have been.
But you never know. But or her dad, Zor-El. So could have been lots of people, but it seemed pretty likely since they were already announced that they were going to do Mon-El. That it was the two. All you had to do is kind of take plot A plus plot B equals C result.
Right.
Yeah, and just connect the dots.
Right. Easy for me to get, easy for you to get. But I understand there are people that listen to Made of Steel that don't read comics. I mean, that's my whole gig over there is getting them to read comics. So, but
you could always just say, well, you check into the Legion of Superheroes.
I have.
Okay.
Actually.
All
so,
right. Good for you.
Yeah, I've had them read a little bit ahead.
And I'm kind of geeking out. I was like, well, we get Mon-El. We've seen a flight ring on The Flash. So how about we get some Legion of Superheroes, guys?
I know, right?
That would be nice.
Can't wait.
Maybe at some point. Here's hoping. All right. Let's see what else. But the interplay between Tyler and Melissa Benoist, I thought was really great.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had great chemistry. It's that relationship we've wanted to see forever on television, because you've had mostly it's been Superman adaptations. We've kind of had that on Smallville a little bit, but this kind of feels like the real deal at last to me.
Yeah, where they come together and they're both equals almost.
Yeah, right. Yeah, as opposed to just like Supergirl shows up and she's naive about everything. She's not an established hero.
Smallville.
Yeah. And Clark was younger. He wasn't Superman yet. So it didn't really count, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah. But here it does.
Great. They're both superheroes. They're working together as a team. I really dig it.
Yeah. And Clark here, he's got he starts off having this immediate distrust of Lena Luthor, understandably, given his relationship with Lex Luthor, her brother. Turns out that, Lena isn't behind what's going on in this episode as far as Clark's concerned.
Right.
But, of course, it's, we find out later that she's responsible for Metallo, for John Corbin becoming Metallo. So it's just the truth hasn't come out about her. So as far as they know, she's trustworthy.
Yeah. Now, she's supposed to be a friend for Kara. So we'll see where that goes too.
Yeah. So let's move on to all the places you'll go.
Let's do. Ms. Kara is taking some tests to find out what she's good at.
Yeah. It turns out she hasn't really decided on a career yet, and Kat's kind of riding her pretty hard about it. Like, Kara's saying, well, I might want to go into marketing, and then Kat is giving her the big eye roll.
Mm-hmm. And so was I.
Yeah, so it's just like, and I think at this point, Kat kind of knows where she's going to go anyway. As we find out later, she wrote it down and then reveals to Kara that, oh, by the way, I wrote down what you were going to be once she finally decides on what she's going to be.
I knew the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I like to think that she had several magazines or whatever with little pieces of paper inside and picked out the one.
Brought it out.
Yeah, just brought it like, oh, look how psychic I am.
Right. Well, you never know.
Yeah, I know. But I just thought that was funny.
One of the touches I love about this, again, is that Kat calls her Kira and all this other stuff.
I thought she was done with that, though, because I thought she was... She calling her by her real name.
But when she calls her in...
Yeah.
Talks seriously with her about becoming a reporter, she calls her Kara again.
Is it just because, she was writing her because she was mad at her for not living up to her potential?
Frustrated. Yeah.
So it's like, this is my way of needling you by not calling you by your real name, which is kind of a douchey move. But it's a lack of respect.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. So yeah, she decides, turns out, well, guess what? I want to be a reporter just like my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which seems a little convenient and a little... It's not the route I would have gone, but okay.
I have to say, though, it's a good way to explain her being off on her adventures all the time.
Exactly,
so if that's how they're going to do it, then...
So be it.
I'm good.
So be it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And she needs to make a living.
Right.
So
girls got to eat. Supergirl's got to eat. All right. So that happened, and then changes. There's a lot going on. We get for one, we get a new DEO headquarters.
It looked great.
2.0.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, they decided, well, we're on a new network, so I guess we need a new set.
Right. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. It looked okay. Turns out that Kara brings Clark back to the DEO after they rescue the Venture, and Clark confronts the Martian Manhunter, John Jones. Interesting little bit of friction between Clark and John.
Yeah, and this is kind of the
And this is kind of a douchey thing on John's part here.
Yeah, this is the friction that he normally would have with Batman, though, right?
Kind of. Well, you don't have a Batman in this universe.
Right.
So is John going to basically be the Batman of the Berlantiverse?
Right. Well, Batman and also Blue Beetle kind of hoard kryptonite.
That's true. But, yeah, that's true. Although we did get a Gotham mention.
We did.
So
it doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't mean anything, but it's just kind of funny.
Berlanti has confirmed it doesn't mean anything.
I know, but it
was just a funny little tip in.
It should.
Yeah, it exists in this universe, that's all.
Exactly. But, John's been hoarding kryptonite from just in case Clark or Kara get out of control.
Mm-hmm.
But all Clark should just say to John is like, what happens if a supervillain breaks in or takes over and gets a hold of the kryptonite?
Right. Now, this might be important in the Mon-El storyline, right?
Right. But Mon-El is not vulnerable to kryptonite.
I know.
As a Daxamite.
Right.
I'm sure they'll try it and be like, bum, 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 bum.
No, as in, it could be something that he could use.
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Or Lena Luthor, of course. Because Luthor's and kryptonite go hand in hand, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Especially when, like Lex Luthor had that one ring that kind of cost him his hand.
Right.
In the pre-Flashpoint continuity.
Mm-hmm.
But, all right. And Wynn ends up getting recruited by the DEO because he's a techie geek guy. And Jean apparently thinks he has some skills.
Right, which he does. He helped them a few times last
season. And it's kind of like, dude, you're pretty much wasted over there at Catco, so why don't you come work for us?
Right. And again, it's not something that came out of the blue, which was cool, because he had worked for them a couple times and helped them.
Right.
And it is also a way to not tether them to Catco's offices.
And I think that's the point. I think they're trying to, because they've made Cat Grant a recurring character, not a regular character, so they figure the bulk of the action that'll be centered around the DEO this season.
Right.
So it makes sense to kind of relocate Wynn there. Now, what about Jimmy?
He's
James,
a photographer.
He's a photographer, but yeah.
So he can accompany Kara on her adventures.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
He's mobile.
Yeah, and Kara, meanwhile, her relationship with Jimmy, we should touch on that real quick.
Yep.
Because Kara, for some reason, because she's kind of all over the place in this episode. Yeah. So she kind of James is kind of ready to get into the relationship with her, but she's not ready to proceed with him because, hey, we're on the CW now. Right? Angst.
Well, okay. Now, we know why this is, right?
Right.
Because the plans they have for his character.
Yeah.
So there's that. And if they sacrifice James and Kara for that, I'm cool. And you know what? I don't think there has to be romance, to be honest. So I'm all right with it.
But if they're just friends, that's fine. But don't give us this okay, 1 week they're closely involved in flirting with each other, and then the next week they're brooding over not being together. Don't be yanking us around, Berlanti.
The only thing that I've seen is that there's going to be friction between them.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with friction.
Right.
Because he and Wynn are going to be...
Just don't give us the yo-yo treatment.
No.
I'm so tired of the yo-yo treatment with superhero relationships.
He and Wynn are going to have their bromance, which I love, by the way. Mm-hmm. When they worked together last season, I thought it was great. So they're going to be working together a bit this next season.
Now, one thing I want to ask you is what you thought of Katie McGrath as Lena Luthor.
I loved her.
Yeah, for those who don't recognize her, she was Zara in Jurassic World.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and she's been on some other stuff, but nothing super high profile.
No.
I liked her in this. I thought she was super aristocratic.
She comes off, she's got the accent a little bit, but, the superior haughty tone.
Right. And cagey, but not so much that you seemed really suspicious of her, you know?
It's not like she's not as overtly like calculating and cold like Lex.
Right.
It's much
I
she's
think she
able to
played
put
it perfectly.
Yeah, she puts on a front.
Mm-hmm.
And so people kind of like are just like she puts on the like I'm not like my brother.
Right.
Give me
So
a
they're
chance.
kind of disarmed by her.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought she played it perfectly, and I was very happy with the casting. And so far, with Tyler Hoechlin and with McGrath.
Katie McGrath, yeah.
Katie McGrath. Flawless on the casting.
Yeah, I think I'm really interested to see where they go, especially since Clark is apparently sticking around.
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
So this is recurring.
Yeah. But he says, like, well, I'm just might as well. I love spending time with you, so I think I'm going to hang out here for a while.
Yeah, he's not in every episode.
Well, to be fair, he's really fast, and he can be in, like, okay, I need to get back to Metropolis. Okay, flies off.
Yeah, I don't think he's in, like, the third and fourth episode or anything. Yeah.
But
it just means he could be here.
Let's just be thankful we have a great Superman.
I agree.
And by all appearances, we do.
We do.
So, very impressed with the first episode.
Yep.
With him in it.
Now, can I just say, why does the bad guy have to have an Australian accent? Why?
I don't know.
Okay, and then can we just say Brenda Strong, hello typecasting, because Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
She stabs, stabby, stab, and then in this one, she creates Metallo.
Right. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we're teasing Project Cadmus.
Right.
Yeah, which is going to be a big factor and should have some impact on James.
Right.
Right. So, if you're a Superman fan, as I am, that Jimmy and Project Cadmus have some history.
They do. And is she the named doctor that we speculated on, do you think?
I think so, but they haven't come out and said.
Right.
I'm pretty sure she is.
Okay.
Right.
I know we're being cagey, but...
Yeah. Well, we might as well save something.
Right.
Since, everything else we're talking about.
2 comic book shows for her in 1 year, and she's a bad guy on both of them.
Typecasting.
Yeah.
Just love
and
it.
She was a desperate housewife. A dead desperate housewife.
All right. So, anything else about this episode?
Nah.
Okay. What's your rating for this?
9 cougarific winks. Wow. That's right.
Yep.
Oh, that wink.
Yep.
Your cousin smells good.
And for anyone wondering, that wink wasn't just that Tyler doing that. That's kind of like a Superman staple.
It is, yeah.
I mean, he was going back to George Reeves. Not Reeve, George Reeves from the Adventures. The original. Well, he wasn't the original. Kirk Allen was the original. But yeah.
The original that we know.
On television. Yeah, he was in the 1950s, Adventures of Superman. But also in the comics, he was doing in the Fleischer cartoons way back in the late 30s, early 40s. So, and throughout the comics, so it's a Superman staple.
Yeah.
Alan Moore had him doing it in Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow at the end. So, yeah. So that's kind of thing. All right, so you gave that. I also gave it 9. So we're totally in sync on this one. 9 red capes.
Awesome.
So, yeah. All right.
Is cougarific.
Rawr.
Welcome to Supergirl, Tyler.
Merry Christmas to me.
That's right. That is right.
That's funny. All right. So moving on to Gotham.
Yes, Gotham.
Moving from National City to Gotham. Episode 4 of the 3rd season, New Day Rising, written by Robert Hull, directed by everybody's favorite director, Eagle Eagleson.
I love his name, Eagle Eagleson. Dun, dun, dun.
Which is a very superhero name.
Manly. That's what the director's name should have been on
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Eagle Eagleson.
You don't get any more patriotic than Eagle Eagleson.
No, not Jeffrey Mace.
It's like being America America.
America McApple Pison.
Yeah, exactly.
Eagle Eagleson.
Yep.
At your service.
America McStars and Stripes.
Flag McAmerica, son.
Yeah, exactly. All right. But, so, what's our A, B, and C, Karen?
A story. These are all book titles, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Classic, like award-winning book titles.
Right.
The A story is Lost in the Funhouse.
Yeah.
B story is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Nice.
And the C story is The Owl and the Pussycat.
Right.
How's that, Owl?
And the Pussycat.
Pussycat.
Well played.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well played. All right. So, Lost in the Funhouse, which I'm guessing is a reference to the abandoned amusement park that Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter, is revealed to be operating inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After he appropriates it from the poor man that he impales.
Yeah.
Or he hits him on the head, right? With the mallet.
Right. So, yeah, we find this out because Alice, the Mad Hatter's sister, is talking to Bullock inside the interrogation room at the GCPD, says that Jervis, her brother, held her captive, and after escaping, she fled to Gotham, where Hugo Strange locked her up.
Mm-hmm.
And
because you and I, we know his history in the comics.
Right.
He's not a good guy.
No.
I think that she probably was safer with Hugo Strange.
Probably. Well, with Jervis having this big Alice in Wonderland fixation, and her sister, not so coincidentally, being named Alice,
right.
That can't bode well for their relationship.
No, and I don't want to get super graphic, but he loved his sister.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. And he's desperate to get her back. And, he crosses paths with Jim Gordon, ends up, hypnotizing him so that Gordon ends up almost walking to getting splatted by a truck.
Right.
And basically, Gordon becomes vulnerable to this ticking sound, like a ticking of a clock or what have you.
It was
or a
his
watch.
Pocket watch, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But any ticking noise, really.
Mm-hmm.
Could set
and
it off.
Alice pointed out that something
Mm-hmm.
that if Jervis has his hooks in you, then you're lost.
Right.
And then they figure out that it's the ticking.
Mm-hmm.
And Alice warns him that he will, that's it. You're a goner. And I think it's really great that Jervis finds out later that James broke this spell.
Right, because remember, apparently he's thinking about Lee,
mm-hmm.
and that kind of snaps him out of that hypnotic
and
state.
Jervis sees this,
mm-hmm.
and so we're going to see the aftermath of that. The fact that Gordon broke out of it, and that Jervis now knows that someone has broken away from it.
So something tells me with my spider sense that once again Lee is going to become a hostage of a supervillain.
Right.
Because apparently that's all she's good for, is to become a hostage.
Vendetta.
Yeah. We can't think of anything better to do with her than make her a hostage.
And then there's going to be this fight between, what's his name? The fiance, Marco?
Yeah, Mario Falcone.
Mario
Falcone. Yeah, so that could be interesting as well, because there could be a little war going on between the Mad Hatter and the Falcones, depending on how this plays out.
And also friction between him and James,
mm-hmm.
because James is going to blame him for all kinds of things.
Right.
And
now, Mad Hatter gets some allies in this episode, or is that kind of how to win friends and influence people?
No.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's more Penguin and Riddler, right?
It is
Okay,
exactly.
all right. So the Mad Hatter gets a hold of the terrible Tweeds,
Yeah.
a family of wrestlers,
Mm-hmm.
kind of Mexican style wrestlers with the
Right.
masks and everything.
Lucadors.
Yeah, so this is a reference to Tweedledum and Tweedledee from the Batman comics,
Mm-hmm.
who are also Alice in Wonderland based villains
Mm-hmm.
that occasionally work with the Mad Hatter.
Right.
And so now it makes perfect sense to kind of bring these characters together. So basically you have Alice, you have the Mad Hatter, and you have Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Right. And this is how they get Alice
Yeah.
and take her to the fun house.
Yeah. Now all they need to do is bring in Cheshire from the Titans.
Oh, there's many more characters.
Yeah.
but
Unless you count Selena, but yeah.
Well, and we're going to get another one in a couple episodes. So
Oh, are we now?
we are.
Ooh, nice.
Look on our Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess I should do that then, huh? And I encourage all of you to do that as well.
Yes, I put up a ton of pictures.
She did, because apparently I didn't have time to get to it. So kudos to you. Well, much respect for you for getting that done.
I put up pictures for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Lucifer, Gotham, and a bunch of season 7 pictures for The Walking Dead, just in time for The Walking Dead retrospective tonight.
Yep. You do not get enough credit for that, so once again, I'm going to give you special credit for that. So.
No worries, I'm happy to do it.
Because I think it's awesome you do that. And just today, you got a little shout-out from Michael Chiklis.
That's right.
Old Commander or Captain Barnes himself on Gotham.
I certainly did.
So that was kind of cool.
We did.
Yeah.
We got noticed.
Yeah, that's you did the hard work, so I give you credit to you. So apparently it's clobbering time for old Captain Barnes.
He clobbered us.
He clobbered us.
Okay, so they
right.
take Phyllis back.
Yeah.
And the way that Harvey decides he's going to find out where they took her is to take the remaining Tweed brother and threaten his mask, which is awesome because that is a very important thing to wrestlers.
And we get some explanation, and now especially this is kind of like a luchador type. So Mexican wrestler that apparently it's a big dishonor.
It is.
To burn their masks. I was not aware of this because I don't follow luchador wrestling.
It's a huge deal.
But
in fact, there was a real life Mexican wrestler who, when he lost one of his fights, they burned his mask.
Oh.
And he never fought again after that. It was a
dishonor.
Huge deal.
Yeah.
So it's that was very.
So he was willing to give up the goods rather than have his mask burnt.
Exactly.
Or his father or his brother's mask burnt, I should say.
Yeah, whatever the deal was.
Something like that.
Yeah. So it was very true to life, really.
Yep.
I mean, I know it sounds out of.
It's like a code of honor, personal code. Yeah.
It is.
All right. So let's move on to how to win friends and influence people.
My favorite storyline.
And this has to be the Penguin and the Riddler.
It is.
And Butch. The villain bros and Butch.
Yeah. I count him as one of the bros. However.
Yeah, but he's not really getting along with the Riddler, is he?
He's been grooming himself, and I say himself because personally, I don't think that Oswald was in any way going to make him his number 2 man.
Well, and then Butch seems to have his own ambitions because
of course.
He's got his own posse of criminals.
Right, but don't you think he wanted to be?
And he wanted to be the big shot.
Number 2 man, but I don't think Oswald wanted him for that. You know, in this episode, I'm always going to need someone to bash brains in or whatever.
Right.
So he wouldn't have.
That's Oswald's take.
Right.
But I think Butch probably saw himself as hey, I'm like the number 2 to the Penguin. We're going to use him, and we're going to totally make out like bandits.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm your guy because I'm hooking you up to the Penguin.
Right. He had one way that he was looking at things, and I don't think the Penguin had that on his radar at all. But of course, this means that Butch saw that Ed is encroaching on that, but Oswald, he was never going to be picked anyway.
Right.
So.
Well, as far as Butch thought he was going to.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
so it's kind of a rude awakening for Butch.
Yeah.
He's Butch is kind of responsible for kind of giving these payment envelopes to election officials,
Right.
and
To buy.
Edward Edward, being the Riddler, just does not miss a trick and catches wind of this.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of confronts Butch about it, and Butch is telling him, like, don't worry about it. This is the only way we got to make this happen, so we can help Oswald.
What could I have in this hand
Yeah,
that can make you forget what's going on in this hand?
right, exactly.
Yeah, he's telling him, don't worry about it. I got it taken care of. We're gonna let our boy win.
Yeah.
And Ed goes directly to Oswald and says, "You don't need that."
Right. And he ends up trying to trick him with this little girl to prove his point.
What a great scene.
But it kind of falls on deaf ears
Yeah.
a little bit. But
He brings the girl up.
Cobblepot tells him to stay out of the campaign.
Yeah. Could I have your autograph?
Yeah.
And then she says, "Okay, can you pay me now?"
Yeah.
And Oswald goes, "Oh, Oswald's like this."
Yeah, pretty much. So while they're waiting for the election results, Butch gets a hold of Nigma at gunpoint, finds out that he took away the officials' money just as the campaign ends, so there's no time. And Penguin's pissed off about it, decides to have Edward, his bud, his villain bro, killed, but then finds out, oh, guess what? I won the election! Dun 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 dun!
And Ed says, "I knew it all the time."
Right.
And that's the second time I've said this.
Yeah.
Kat knew it all the time, and now Ed
Yeah,
knew it.
exactly. It was all part of my plan.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
it's like the
this is
people
all
really
true.
that you like me. You really, really like me.
Yeah. In this case, Ed, it was all true for Ed.
Mm-hmm.
He did know it all the time.
Right. And so the Penguin, been in a very generous mood, as he's sworn in by mayor, as mayor or whatever, he decides to let Edward live, of course, and then makes him his chief of staff.
Right.
And Butch is apoplectic at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, wow. So I'm guessing that's not the last we see of that little grudge between the two.
No. Again, there are some pictures on our Facebook page that show a bit of a procession happening, and Butch is not exactly front and center.
Right.
So there's that.
Okay, so moving on, the Alamo Pussycat.
Yep. Someone has cut his hair and has decided to masquerade as the prince.
Right.
But at some point, Miss Pussycat doesn't believe him.
Yeah. Well, they decide to go rob this bar together.
Right.
And Selena almost loses a finger because she ends up getting caught rather amateurishly, in my opinion, because I thought she would be a much better thief than this.
Right. Don't you think she's kind of distracted, though?
Could be. Could be.
Could be taken on holiday.
Could be. So she ends up, Five comes in, takes out the guys with basically Batman-style moves and strength, and frees her.
Mm-hmm.
So they go off, escape, or whatever, get out of there. She ends up seeing his scars.
Right.
And kind of discovers who he is, figures it out.
Right.
Like, you're not Bruce, are you?
Right.
And
one of the funniest lines of the whole episode, though, is that you guys are alike in some ways. Neither of you have a sense of humor. Which I love.
So she's kind of stitching his head wound or something.
No, it's an abdomen wound.
Abdomen wound. Okay, thank you. And old Five decides to make the move on Selena, kisses her.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of intrigued by.
She already knows it's not Bruce.
Right. And I'm glad they kind of addressed that early on, because I'm glad they didn't drag that out.
Yeah, me too.
Because as we were talking about this, it's such a horrible cliche trope that
Right.
you have the hero getting impersonated, replaced, and
Although I don't think we've seen the end of that
no,
because it
no,
happens at the end of the episode.
exactly. So at the end of the episode, well, Five decides, okay, guess what, guys, I'm out of here. He tells Bruce and Alfred, see ya, jumps off a rooftop.
Well, he also says, ask her about the kiss.
Yeah, so just to
And
kind of
he
rub
brushes
salt in
it
the wound.
off and says, well, she must have thought he was me. But as I said, she already knew it was
But
me.
Bruce didn't know that.
Right.
Bruce didn't have that information. But so he goes off. You think, oh, here, hopefully we've seen the last of him. Well, guess what? Of course not. Because why would we introduce him only to get rid of him right away?
Right.
So, of course, there's a nice little car pulls up at the end.
Maskerson.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mrs.
Catherine,
Yeah.
who now tells Five that he plans on using him as Bruce and has him sedated and captured
Right.
to be recruited by the Court of Owls
Right. Thus, the owl.
and the Pussycat. Yeah, there you go. Well
My
played.
brilliant
Well played.
title.
Well played.
My best one of the night, I think.
That's not my favorite.
It's not?
No, I have others.
Okay.
They're coming up.
Okay, good.
But,
You'll have to tell me.
All right. So, anything else about this episode?
No,
Okay.
I think I've interjected my little points. That one line, though.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you interjected. So, thank you for that. All right. So, what's your rating?
That's what I'm here for,
Yes,
to say things.
I would hope so, because otherwise it's gonna be. I'm gonna do a lot of talking, and I'm gonna by the end of the episode. So.
Yeah, I gave it, this was the best thing. When Ed and Oswald are talking,
Right.
I gave it 9 framed sanity certificates. He gives them the framed sanity
I
certificate.
forgot about that until you mentioned it.
And they were going to hang them up next to each other on the
Yep,
wall.
yep. It's like
great.
let's be proud that we're sane.
Let's be sanity pals.
And they're both kind of geeking out about it.
I know, it's great.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Now, I wasn't much of a fan of this episode as you were, but I still liked it. I give it
It's solid.
8 luchador masks.
Yeah.
So,
8 is still a good score.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
If just for the Oswald and Ed parts, I mean, that storyline was rock solid, I thought.
It was. So, Penguin's the mayor, so we'll find out what
Oh,
happens
and Alice,
next.
R.I.P. Alice.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Impales herself.
she got impaled on a convenient pipe or something.
Right. Now, I have to say, I think she did it on purpose.
Yeah.
She didn't really save herself.
Well, she kind of backs up,
Mm-hmm.
but she doesn't just jump off forward. She backs up and falls over onto it.
But I don't think she tried to stop herself. I think she knew. Because she's getting away from her brother.
Maybe she just didn't want to look and see it coming.
Right.
So she backed up.
I just had a feeling.
That's
so
possible.
Anyway,
I'll give you that.
on to Lucifer.
Lucifer, episode 3 of the second season, Sin Eater. Written by Alex
Sin Eater.
Katznelson, directed by Mersey Almus.
Alrighty.
A, B, and C. Us.
They took his germ.
They took his germ. Which is one of my favorite South Park references.
Yeah, me too.
So they took his germ.
B story is get a life, mom. And then C story is douche destination.
Nice. All right. So they took his germ. Okay. Sorry, I'm just picturing that South Park episode. All right, in my head. All right, so what's that reference to, Karen?
Of course, that's his gig, right?
Oh,
It's punishing people.
Yeah, that's true. It's Lucifer. Yeah. So basically, the crime, the procedural of the week, is this guy who's going around punishing people.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys, there's like a burned man. They learned that his confession was posted online before he died, and the burn pattern indicates that like there was most of the accelerant was placed on his penis.
Don't touch the charred crotch.
Yeah, pretty much. I love that line. That was good.
Too.
So there's this video online where the guy was embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And
With the same thing.
yeah, by the same thing. So, so there's some kind of like serial killer going around, looking to take revenge on everybody, punishing them for their actions. And at first, Lucifer's kind of pissed off about it because they took my gerb. They took a gerb. And then he kind of like gets into it and goes, "Okay, this guy is pretty cool,"
Right.
and kind of enjoys it.
And of course, it's an allegory to what's happening in his real life.
Right.
Because he's not punishing anyone at the moment.
Right.
He's living fancy free.
Footloose and fancy free.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's running a bar.
Yeah.
And by the way, can I just say that the villain of the week,
Right.
you knew who the villain was, right?
Yes.
Played by
Oh, no, I don't know that.
Vic Sahay of Chuck.
Oh, I see. Didn't watch Chuck.
Oh. He played Lester.
That's why I didn't know who he was. Okay.
Oh, and when I tweeted, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, Lester is going to be Vic Sahay,
Yeah.
going to be on Lucifer tonight. Amazing!" He tweeted me back and said, "Yes, I am. Thank you."
So that's good. So you got some welcome feedback on Twitter from the murderer.
To be fair,
He's playing a murderer.
a lot of those guys remember that I did a Chuck podcast.
Oh, that's true.
So yeah, I'm still followed by a couple of them, I think.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't care that he was the murderer. He was awesome. So hi, Vic Sahay.
Yeah.
Sahay. Sorry.
Easy for you to say.
Vic_Sahay.
Okay, so get a life, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
This is a reference to Charlotte, Tricia Helfer, essentially barging in on Lucifer at the start of the episode. He's kind of like having a fun little bit of candle wax. Yeah, oh yeah. And it's getting a little hot and heavy, and then all of a sudden Mom shows up. Record scratch. Fail music.
Yep.
So Lucifer's understandably upset about this. And Lucifer wants her to stop barging in. Charlotte says, "I just want to be a part of my son's lives."
Danger zone.
Danger zone. Exactly. So, Charlotte, at the end of the episode, Lucifer decides, well, guess what? I'm going to punish you. I'm going to decide your sentence.
Right. Because he decides he's going to do his job again.
Exactly. So your sentence is you're going to remain on Earth among the creatures you despise.
That's right. And you're going to live the life of the person whose body you inhabit.
Complete with a husband and kids.
Right.
Lucky you.
Ha ha ha.
So, yeah, that's the price you're going to have to pay if you want to be with Amenendil and me. And she agrees to this.
Yep.
Yep. And, of course, as she's heading home, though, she gets held up at gunpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And she shoves the robber away, like, flings him across the alleyway or whatever, and realizes, oh, guess what? I'm just as strong as Lucifer.
And invulnerable, and yeah.
And stuff.
And again, we get the last shot of the episode of her smiling evilly.
Yeah.
Into the camera.
Yeah, she's like, ooh, muhahaha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As only Tricia Helfer does so well.
That's right.
Yeah.
She's great.
She is great.
I knew she'd be wonderful on the show, and she is.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed at all by her on this. All right, let's see. Douche Destination. So, yes, we have...
two things.
Right. Well...
Their trip.
Yeah, there's a bit of conflict going on because Chloe wants Dan to go on this trip, so that Trixie, it's basically for Trixie's benefit. Chloe and Dan still not really tight with each other, but they're kind of trying to make it work for the sake of Trixie.
Right.
which is all well and good. I get that. But it's not really working out. And then Dan ends up telling her at the end of the episode that Chloe's right and they shouldn't lie to Trixie.
Right.
And he gives this whole spiel like, well, I'll always be Trixie's dad and part of your lives. But it's time to move on.
Yep. So his final destination is another D word.
Yeah.
Divorce.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's right.
Divorce.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I actually thought about using that,
Yeah.
but destinations gave me the two different paths.
Right. And I think at this point, Chloe was kind of wanting to reconcile a little bit.
A little bit,
I
or at
think
least she wanted.
She was open to the idea, at least. Yeah.
Right.
But
She's got to make that fist.
but Dan kind of like record scratched that and just like,
Now-
nope, not going to happen.
I am thinking that might be a little bit of a play
Right.
on his part to see if she'll make that fist. And I think when he said it and she agreed, he was like, "Oh, oh, she's got."
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
sorry.
So we're gonna see some stuff with them, and they still have to work together
Mm-hmm.
because he's assigned to her cases. So whoops.
Awkward. Okay, so some other things. Maze and Dr. Linda having little drinkies.
Foreshadowing for an episode coming up
Yep. So
called "Lady Parts,"
ooh,
which I can't wait for.
I like that title.
Yep.
All right. So
Has nothing to do with actual
oh
lady.
yeah. Hey now. All right. So they're talking about Mazakine's success at stepping out on her own and giving up work at Lux,
Mm-hmm.
which now she's there at Lux now because she's socializing, not because she's working.
Right.
So, and Charlotte at that point kind of walks by, says hi or whatever, and then after she leaves, Mazakine's shooting the daggers of death right at her, going, "We hate her, don't we?"
Yeah, and Dr. Linda says, well, maybe you're jealous of her. And even though she mistakenly thinks that it's one of Lucifer's girlfriends,
Mm-hmm.
it's still true.
Right. She is jealous.
Right. And there's a part of her that will always be really invested in Lucifer, like unhealthily invested in Lucifer. She's jealous of Chloe. She's jealous of... I think Trixie's really the only one she's not.
Well, because she knows that Trixie's not a threat.
Right.
But she gets along with Dr. Linda, and Dr. Linda and Lucifer were getting it on, so...
Mm-hmm. Well, but that's not a threat.
That's true. Maybe
It was
it's over. Okay, so it was just sex.
Right.
And she's okay with that.
Right.
It wasn't emotional.
Right.
I getcha. Okay.
She's all right.
So Dr. Linda tells Maze to talk to Lucifer about her feelings. Mazakine's like, well, screw that. I'm going to talk to somebody else who listen because Lucifer's not going to listen.
Right. But she doesn't say that to Dr. Linda.
No, she
just-
doesn't. She just goes.
Right.
And of course, who does she go to? Amenadiel.
So sad.
And Amenadiel is apparently also doing a little drinky, drowning his sorrows in wine or like
Wine.
cheap liquor, Mad Dog 2020 or something.
But he's also trying to freeze the wine,
Yeah.
and it is not working.
Not working. Mazikine shows up. He's like scrambling to vacuum up and stuff before she comes in. But of course, she bursts the door in, knocks it down. She wants to know what he's hiding. She thinks he's getting some.
Right.
He plays
and
along.
He does not
He's
just abuse her
no,
of that.
no. Just like, yeah, that's the ticket. Me and my wife, Morgan Fairchild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ticket. So that's she tells him she's having or what is it here? No, Mazikine tells Amenadiel she wants this new woman in Lucifer's life gone,
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing it's Amenadiel's mom, and he spots a feather on the ground really quick, picks that up, or at least covers it with his foot or something.
Yeah, he covers it with his foot.
That's it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll talk to Lucifer just to get her out the door.
Get her out the door,
Go,
yeah.
go."
But he does anyway, which is honorable because, he's the good guy, quote unquote.
Yeah. So he goes over to Lucifer. Lucifer's not home, but guess what? Charlotte is.
Yep.
And she's got a towel and nothing else on because, Mom, I don't want to see that, Mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he just thinks she's some chick.
That's true.
Is, again, awkward because...
Yeah, well, she knows who he is.
Of course she does.
Yeah, but he doesn't know who she is. So Charlotte tells Amenadiel she's having trouble with her kids, being all vague about it, and that she's trying to get closer to them. And then he figures it out, oh, by the way, you're my mom. Oh, crap.
Mm-hmm.
As she's like ranting about Lucifer being obsessed with his human job, and Amenadiel still being his father's little loyal soldier.
Right.
So...
And they have a reconciliation.
Yeah.
Until Lucifer comes home.
And does the punishment.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's all right with it, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just stands there and kind of nods. Yep.
Well, originally he was going to send her back to hell. And she's like, I'm okay with you sending me back to hell.
Right.
But...
Yeah, she plays her little gambit. And it is a gambit.
She is. Yeah. I agree.
And then she wasn't expecting Lucifer to mete out some punishment. Mm-hmm. She thought she already had him under her thumb.
Right.
Not so much.
Yep, sorry about your luck. So anything else about this episode?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's so sad to see Amenadiel.
Yeah.
Right now.
He's a downy clowny.
Yeah, very sad.
Yep.
No, that's it.
Okay, what's your rating?
8 dustbusters.
Gotta fucking vacuum up. That was pretty funny. I like that, but
it was funny and sad all at the same time.
It was. Now I was a little more generous with you on this one. I give it 8.5 candles dripping wax because yeah.
I gotta say, I loved all the stuff with Lucifer and the porn place.
Yeah. When
he would sit down and he said, "Did you know that this is where all the awesomeness of the internet lies?"
That was good.
Come here. This man is going to jump naked onto the rhinoceros, and you never guess where he lands. No, you will. I know you will.
And it's great that Charlotte is able to drive Lucifer so crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I love it.
So this normally arrogant character is getting taken down a peg repeatedly.
I love it. Don't touch the charred crotch. That's going to be like my cat.
That's important advice, kids.
In all cases.
Yes.
I mean, really, when can you not use that?
Exactly. All right, moving on. The Flash.
Paradox.
Episode 2 of Season 3, Paradox, written by Aaron and Todd Helbing, directed by Ralph Hemmicker. So
Standards.
Yep.
They've done a lot of work on Flash.
Exactly. What's our alpha, beta, gamma?
Ooh, aren't you?
Yeah. Look at that.
Fancy.
Yeah. What is it?
We have a few more than that, but it's mostly just side stories.
Okay.
Flashpoint Paradox Flashback.
Yeah.
You like that one?
I do.
Okay. Time for an Intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we have a few here. One's very long.
Yeah.
But I hope you'll get it.
Okay.
I think you will. Barry learns about the circles of hell: limbo, lust, gluttony, greed, anger, heresy, violence, fraud, and treachery. And who wrote that?
Dante? Very well played. There? Yes, I see what you did. Very clever.
Thank you.
Kudos.
Assistant to the meta-human expert.
Right.
A reference to The Office, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the alchemist of the wall?
Or mirror master on the wall.
This is what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking too. And that's kind of what I hinted at it last week, if you recall, when the word alchemist was scratched into a mirror.
Yep.
So,
we both talked about it.
We did.
Not just you.
Well, I brought it up too.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. It's okay. We both talked about it.
It was in my brain as well.
It was. I will give you credit.
I'll take you credit. I'll give you credit for saying it out loud.
Okay.
but it was in my head as well.
Okay.
Because I love the Mirror Master.
I know you do. So you should get all Mirror Master credit.
Oh, no, not all of it.
Most of it.
I'll only take half.
Okay.
Because
we're a partnership.
That's right.
All right. Okay.
You say it.
Fair enough.
It's in my head.
Because I'm working on your brain.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So the main story is
Flashpoint Paradox flashback.
The whole episode is a flashback, apparently.
Yeah. So this is essentially kind of part 2 of the Flashpoint storyline. And now we're in a third timeline.
Right.
Or is it kind of the 5th by this point if you go all the way back to season 1?
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
It might be more than that because he used that little thing to go between universes, which might have actually caused some more temporal issues, so who knows?
I don't mind Barry Allen traveling through time, but stop making alternate universes.
Right.
I think a lot of people are getting fed up with that.
I agree.
And I think that's on the writers. They've kind of abused that concept.
Yeah. I think this might have been the episode that stops that.
I hope so. Let's hope so.
Mm-hmm.
So we are in a brand new timeline. Barry's freaking out about what happens. So what does he do? The first person he goes to is none other than Felicity Smoke.
Impartial third party.
Right. So he races to Star City.
Right.
Catches up Felicity. Learns about the changes to the timeline. And now there's several changes to this timeline. We've got Iris has not forgiven Joe for not telling her that her mother was alive.
Right.
We've got Cisco's brother Dante being dead.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, Barry, you've got a new CSI partner, Julian Albert, a.k.a. Tom Felton, a.k.a. Draco Malfoy.
Well, yeah.
A.k.a. Albert Desmond.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah,
Julian Albert Desmond. Unless it's a red herring.
Unless they're doing a bait and switch.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, which they do like to do bait and switch.
They do.
So,
yeah.
But it seems you get Draco Malfoy.
Yeah.
There's only one reason you get Draco Malfoy for a character.
Right.
So.
And some of those circles of hell are actually represented by these changes.
Yep.
Anger, definitely.
Oh, I know we're kind of jumping ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Anger between Iris and her dad. Violence is the lashing out of Cisco to everyone. Fraud is how Barry feels when he finds out that he's made all these changes and he doesn't know if he should tell them or not.
That is really clever of you, by the way.
Thank you.
You put a lot of thought into that.
Thank you. Good. Greed because he did it in the first place for himself only. I'm trying to think what else.
Treachery.
Well, treachery overall. I mean, the whole thing is treachery, really. And treachery also on the part of Eobard for making some tinkers with it.
Good point. Because after promising Barry that, I'll go back and change things. Oh, right. Guess. Yeah.
Limbo because he is not sure whether he's going to go back and change it again. And Lust because of his dealio with Iris. Right. I guess is where it was headed towards that. Heresy, not so much. I couldn't think of anything with heresy.
That's okay.
But most of them are covered in there. And then, of course, Dante.
Dante being a reference to Cisco's brother.
Right.
And also Dante Alighieri.
Who wrote Dante?
Who wrote,
the Divine Comedy.
Yeah.
Dante's Inferno.
Yeah. So, let's see what else is going on. So, Barry's talking to Felicity, checks out Felicity's computer, discovers that, guess what? I've also turned John Diggle's daughter into a son.
But guess what? It's John Jr., which might turn out to be Connor Hawke.
Yeah.
Who we saw in Legends of Tomorrow last season.
But it seems like, guess what? They say he doesn't have a daughter. Felicity says, he's got a son.
Right.
So the daughter's apparently erased from history.
Yeah, I get that. But I'm saying
Sarah Diggle is no more.
only Flash knows that. It's not like
Yeah.
they're
Well,
going to miss her.
right.
We miss her, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
But
Because it's not the original timeline now.
right.
So.
But didn't they kind of foreshadow
Well, they
this?
kind of did, yeah. Because back in Legends of Tomorrow, you're right. And with Connor, him becoming Connor Hawk, and yeah.
Right. And him saying that he was John Tickle Jr.
So it kind of fixes that little inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
See, I always thought they could just explain it. Well, in addition to
He had
Sarah,
another.
they had a son.
I know.
But
But now it's like,
I guess that's too simple for this show.
Oh.
We've got to complicate it with an alternate timeline.
Still, I thought it was pretty clever.
Yeah. Anyway.
It made the light bulb go off over my head.
Light bulb.
A flash.
Ooh, I see what you did
Light
there.
went
Well
off over my head.
Yeah, I see what you did there. So Felicity suggests that Barry should tell everybody what's happened.
Go back and fix it. No, she says go back and fix it.
She does. Oh, she does. I thought she just said, just admit to it. Tell
She
everybody
told him to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
Because of Sarah.
Right.
And he tries to.
He does. He
But
tries
then-
to. So, well, first he gathers everybody together for this really awkward dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the most
Can
awkward.
I just say
Yeah.
this part where he goes, okay, so we all know what happened, but can you just say it out
wait.
loud so that
You should be playing our dinner music, shouldn't you?
Oh.
For the awkward dinner. There we go.
Okay, so we all know what happened, but can we all just say everything out loud so that maybe, airing it, that might help, right?
Exactly.
So that he will know what's going on. It is probably the dumbest way to figure out what's going on.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Because it's not suspicious at all.
No. And he wants to do bonding. Nobody's sold on that.
No.
And Cisco ends up revealing that they wanted him to travel back in time to stop Dante's death at the hands of a drunk driver, but Barry wouldn't do it.
Right.
Because Barry will only travel back in time to save his mom and help himself.
Right. Greed.
Yeah.
Again.
Mm-hmm. And Cisco's understandably a little, pissed off about that.
Of course he is.
And so Barry's like, okay, I will travel back in time to fix the damage.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries to do that, goes back, and then ends up getting clotheslined by Jay Garrick.
That's right. Yoink.
Yeah, exactly. And they end up stopping in 1998.
Dawson's Creek was on.
And so
Hilarious.
Or is that Dawson's Streak?
Ooh, I see what you did.
You see what I did there?
I do.
Yeah, and of course, who was on that show? But none other than John Wesley Shipp as Dawson's dad.
That's right.
So they're all like, I don't want to wait for my life to be over. Little Paula Cole coming at you in the 90s.
Oh my God. And it was so funny because it was just littered.
Yeah. Paula Cole used to be Peter Gabriel's backup singer. Did you know that?
Really?
Really?
I can tell.
She's the backup singer on his Secret World Live album.
Oh, very cool.
Little tidbit, because I'm a Peter Gabriel fan, so I know that.
She has that voice. I can hear it.
Yep. It really does a really good job on the album, too. So, especially the Don't Give Up and stuff like that. So, live, which is really good.
Nice.
Filling in for Kate Bush. But anyway.
I love that he stops him, by the way, in this, and gives him all that advice, not to go back.
Well, he kind of scolds him.
Yes.
He's like, what you did wasn't acceptable, young man.
It wasn't.
And there are consequences to time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Which we've already explained this. So Barry should know this
by
now. But the writers are writing him really badly.
Well, I think they're trying to fix that with this.
Well, they should have done that a season ago.
Well,
it's like, get over your dead parents.
It's still a great show, so if they fix it, then they fix it.
Well, they better hurry up, because a lot of people are getting frustrated. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So,
well, now he knows that he can't do it anymore.
Yeah, so Jay tells him he's made mistakes before, and he does this coffee cup. He vibrates a chip in the coffee cup, saying that no matter what, it's just like the timeline. No matter how hard you try to fix it, it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
That's his metaphor.
Right. And it's true, but I have to say, I think Eobard did do some tinkering.
Well, I'm sure, and I think that'll come out.
Hmm.
The question is, will Barry be able to undo what Eobard did?
See, I don't think he's going
I
to
don't think he's going to either.
because of what
I think so. Now,
Jake has done.
so for those who might be wondering, we're probably going to be sticking with this timeline
Yep.
for at least the season, and until we get a whole new timeline.
No, I think
I hope not.
we're sticking with it.
I hope not. Until they decide, well, we want to change some stuff again.
No,
and
I
the,
think
and the question is, what else has been altered in Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow as a result?
right.
Maybe a certain Black Canary is not so dead anymore?
See, especially since the actress has a contract.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So there might be some other changes. We
And
don't know
also
yet.
someone from season 1 coming back, maybe.
Maybe. As Prometheus, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that. We'll get into Arrow later, but... All right, so what else? Time for an intervention. Well, we kind of covered that.
Yeah, we did that.
right.
Assistant to the metahuman expert
Yeah,
finds out he has an office mate.
Yeah, and apparently one who does not like or trust him whatsoever.
And deservedly so.
Kind of.
Because he's always like running off to do something when he should be working, probably.
Yeah, pretty much. He probably dumps all the work on poor Julian, who's probably the bad guy. But just saying. And anyway, so Barry heads back. No. So Barry tells Julian that he needs this report on Edward Claris's husk that they're becoming.
I did say it was Edward Claris.
Yeah, exactly. So Julian's like all suspicious, but gives him to him anyway. And Julian explains the body's on Williamson near the old Prescott sawmill.
Mm-hmm.
There's like down by the old man at the farm. Here on Scooby-Doo.
Back at the ranch.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, like old man Peterson down at the. Exactly.
Right.
So Flash shows up there, gets confronted by the rival in alchemy.
Right.
Who makes his big splash appearance in this episode, blasting him with something that we presume is the Philosopher's Stone.
Yes.
As in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Which is the British version of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Right.
If you're a Harry Potter fan.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason we had to change it to Sorcerer's here. Which I don't get. Why couldn't it be Philosopher's Stone here?
I don't know.
But I don't get it. Book publishers, go figure.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the sawmill, Alchemy's telling Barry that he's, quote, preparing this world and helping people meet their true potential. Right. And then we've got Claris pulling out Barry's communications device so he can't talk to the team, and then starts wailing on him at super speed.
Right.
Gives him a beat down. The team decides, well, I guess we should go help Barry. Mm-hmm. Barry ends up getting his ass whooped badly.
And as we saw earlier in the episode, someone was working on a suit.
Yes, weren't they?
That was Cisco working.
Yeah, Cisco shows up in full costume as Vibe. He's got the goggles and everything.
Very Reverby without the man bun.
Exactly. And so he blasts the rival with his vibratory powers. The two together, we got Flash and Vibe kind of teaming up to take out Claris. And Barry thanks Cisco for the help, who apologizes for taking so long to come around. And the team determines that Alchemy is creating metahumans from Flashpoint, whom they need to track down.
Right. That's right.
So, and then we get a little bit of teasing at the end. We get Caitlin revealing that, guess what? She's got her Killer Frost powers, the cryokinesis.
So do you think that she might have been one of those husks?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. And so we're actually getting proper Killer Frost. Hooray, at last. Finally, they're moving Danielle Pannenbaker off the back burner, only at season 3.
Right.
After wasting her for 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Barry and Iris begin their relationship yet again.
By eating a moon.
Yeah.
They kiss with the moon in between their mouths, and then it's gone when they pull apart. So they must have eaten it.
Hopefully Barry will remember this time.
Yeah.
Or Iris will, excuse me. Iris, hopefully Iris remembers it.
Yeah.
And then the rival ends up getting attacked mysteriously in his cell.
You think?
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
So the question is, who's attacking him? Alchemy, or the Mirror Master, or something
Or
else?
whom? Whom is attacking him? Who knows?
Anyway, so that's what's going on with the
No
Flash.
more rival, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, let's find out. Like, we need to take him off the board. We're kind of...
So now, are we going to get the...
So presumably from this point on, we're now in this new timeline and moving forward, hopefully.
Right.
So
Alchemist is the...
Alchemy.
I'm sorry, Alchemy. Because I have Alchemist written here.
Well, they call him Dr. Alchemy, because Cisco makes a point of saying, no, Dr. Alchemy.
Right, Dr. Alchemy.
And then Barry would say Alchemy, and Cisco corrects him, going, Dr. Alchemy.
Okay, I know he was someone else before. The...
Mr. Element.
Thank you, Mr. Element.
You're welcome. Yeah, Al Disman, it's kind of like he becomes Mr. Element, and then his personality kind of splits a little bit.
Albert
Desmond.
Aldous. He had twin brother.
They had a twin brother that turns out to be like, or Dr. Alchemy, and so they kind of fight.
And they merge, and they...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's weird.
That was before Crisis.
And can I just say, I am so glad he's all in black and not the lime green.
Mm-hmm.
Because
well, it seemed like they kind of combined both the Mr. Element costumes with the Dr. Alchemy costume.
Yes, I was very glad.
Because they've got the Dr. Alchemy hood, but they have the Mr. Element face mask, gas mask.
It's kind of a gas mask, which is awesome, but it doesn't look very gas masky. It looks like pointed and sinister, which I love.
It looks a lot better than Rival's costume. Let's just put it that way.
Oh my God!
I hate that headpiece. Looks so Power
Amateur
Ranger.
Lash.
Horrible costume design. Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible.
All right.
Terrible.
Okay, moving on. Next, I think we're like at the halfway point here.
We didn't give our grades.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. What's our grade?
I give it 8.5 community center bulletin boards.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, Cisco went to the grief counseling session, and Barry was...
Yeah. Oh, no, it's the gym. I got to go to the gym. Yeah.
Barry was casually looking at the bulletin board as to not be seen loitering outside.
And everybody's giving Barry crap for not knowing what he's talking about. It's like, well, dude, just new to this timeline, okay? Give me a break.
Right.
All right. And I gave this one I was a little more generous. I kind of like this one a little bit more. 8.5 chipped coffee cups.
They're both the same rating. 8.5.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
8.5.
You're right. We're both in sync then.
We like it the same.
We like it the same. We're like 8.5 buddies.
That's right. You can give it chipped coffee cups, which I think is great.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that analogy.
And how great is it to have scenes with John Wesley Shipp and Grant Gustin again?
Yeah. Can we have them all the time?
Jay being a mentor. More of this, please. Since they killed off Henry Allen, don't lose that. Because that's a great component of this show.
Mm-hmm.
So don't lose it.
Now we've seen that they can actually interact, which is wonderful. I'm assuming that they could probably do it as well in the Speed Force, maybe.
Right.
So let's do that.
Yeah. So here's hoping we get more of that soon.
And
go ahead.
Can I just mention that at the end of the episode, he also tells them all that he could tell them what the differences are in the other universe, and they decide they don't want to know.
Right. That's a good point to bring up.
There's that as well. So that might come up later on. But otherwise, I think we hit everything.
Okay. All right. Next, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Uprising.
That is correct. 403.
Yeah, 403, written by Craig Titley.
He's a Titley.
Titley. Which we always make fun of that guy's name.
I know we do. Poor guy.
Directed by...
Never heard that
this is a manly name. Directed by Magnus Martins.
Magnus Martins, friends with Eagle Eagleson.
Which is a little more masculine than Jeffrey Mace.
And they make fun of Mr. Titley and Mace.
Exactly.
Mr. Titley and Mace.
They hang him up on a door handle by his underwear.
They do, on the flagpole.
Yeah.
Run him up the flagpole, boys.
Throw him in his locker at high school.
That's right.
All right. Because I'm Magnus Martins.
You know, He never should have said that it was a manly name because no.
No.
It's,
Well, it just kind of
it at all.
It opened it up to so much ridicule.
It did. Jeffrey Mace is just not.
Well, the last name is, but
it's a fine name. It's just not.
Yeah.
What he said it was. I was expecting something like super manly, and it's just.
Yeah.
Luke Cage. You know, that's manly.
That's manly name.
Yeah. Eagleson.
Yeah. Not so much.
Jeffrey Mace. No,
Jeffrey
not
Mace,
so much.
Not so much. All right. So A, B, and C is Karen. If you
not so empathetic.
EMP pathetic. Or
That's
aesthetic.
right.
Yeah, nice. Nicely played there. I like that one.
Thank you. Nadir is the lowest of the low.
I think that's my favorite.
Is it? Because it's
a play on words. Clever. I thought. I like that one.
This is my worst title ever. Mm-hmm. Mayther and M reunion. I hate it.
I hate it.
I do. I hate it because it's like the mother and child reunion. But
it's okay. I see what you got.
Bad. It's a bad one.
Well, I like Nadir.
Do you? Nadir is the lowest of the low.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Because you know the word, and I'm explaining this for our listeners, and I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't want to have to explain it. I'm sure most of you know what it means, but the word nadir.
Well, we know we have an intelligent audience, but some people might not be familiar with the word.
It's an obscure word. Nadir is a word that means the lowest of the low.
Right.
So
the nadir. Yeah.
Right. Nadir.
It's a play on words. Yeah.
Is the lowest of the low.
Yeah. All right. So not so pathetic.
Right. And of course, this means the two cities that we see hit the EMPs.
Yeah. So we kind of start off, I think it's in, I'm trying to...
Miami.
Is it Miami? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, you're right.
Now, you know what I'm referencing there, right? That they're not empathetic. That her friend... Mm-hmm. Isn't very empathetic when
right, yeah.
And also the brother is not so empathetic about Quake.
That's true.
Okay, so that's why I used that.
But well played.
Okay, double meaning. See,
I like that. You got the old double entendre.
Pathetic.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, this is reference to Yo-Yo going to this bachelorette party in Miami for her friend Maria, who's obviously getting married. There happens to be a power surge that knocks out the power as far as anybody can see. Party goers are like, oh, cool, we're in the dark. And then all of a sudden a helicopter falls out of the sky.
Right.
And it's like, well, maybe things aren't great after all. And eventually there's... there's a video that comes out about this member of the Inhuman Resistance whose face and voice are hidden, claims responsibility for the blackout in Miami. He says it was an attempt to get the attention of the world governments and demands that those governments put an end to Inhuman registration.
Right.
So, there's these guys that show up at the bachelorette party because they heard there's an Inhuman around.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow they got a tip that there was.
Have a list.
Yeah. Where did they get that list from? Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So who's the rat?
Yeah. Good question.
Who is the rat?
Yeah. So these watchdog guys show up, and they find basically that Coulson, Mac, and Fitz end up showing up and saving Yo-Yo from the Watchdogs, that newer location. And then what else here? Oh, I think that's about it for that, isn't there? For about the EMP. Well, I take that back because later on in the episode, at the end, there's the senator.
Yep.
But that's kind of our B story, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about the MacGyvery stuff?
Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, I didn't put a storyline in for that because that's part of the not so empathetic part.
Yeah, go ahead.
But Fitz and Mac and Coulson, they're going on the road.
Right.
in the
road trip.
I keep calling it a wave rider, but it's not the wave rider. What is it called?
Oh,
Their ship.
yeah, the oh shoot, I wish I were. I know the one you're talking about, the Zephyr.
Zephyr, thank you.
You're welcome.
They keep going out in the Zephyr because they're trying to counteract the EMPs.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to Miami first because they know Yo-Yo's there.
They're going to Miami. Miami.
Right.
Miami.
So they find Yo-Yo, and that's where they find the list of the Inhumans, and they realize that there is, some sort of mole within the organization. But then they decide they're mole.
Sorry, Austin Powers reference.
It's a man, baby. Okay, so then what city do they go to? Do they go to Los Angeles?
I think
they
so.
They go to another city. I think it's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So they go to Los Angeles, and that's where they decide they're going to actually take out the EMP. They figure out that it's pulses because it's always sending out the pulses. And since he can't use his little device to take down the EMP,
he being Fitz.
Fitz
yeah.
Has his little toolkit of things, and it's like a magnet and a watch face
and a paper clip and a chocolate bar wrapper and
So he MacGyvers it up, and they triangulate positions.
Tonight on MacGyver.
And I'm sorry, I'm not watching the reboot.
I'm not either. I've heard nothing but horrible things about the reboot.
No, N-O. Nor Lethal Weapon. Sorry, no.
Yeah, I'm not either on that.
So they MacGyver it up, and they find the location of the EMP thing, and they go in, and of course the bad guys are there.
Right.
So Yo-Yo, and this is such a great scene. She's smiling so big.
Yeah.
And you see the flashes as she goes in, the flashes of the EMP going off. And she's yo-yoing and grabbing all the guns, and she's delighted to take all their guns. It's so great.
Yep. And standing there all smug and like, I got you.
I got your guns. Right.
Yeah.
And she takes all their guns, and then they can go in and disable the EMP. And they manage to question one of the guys, and the guys won't give up who it is that's helping them. But they tell them, well, it's our duty to take out these Inhumans and blah, blah, blah. And
Right, yeah. The alt-right.
But I really dig the whole scene where they're taking out the EMP. And Fitz is amazing. He and Simmons are my MVPs in this episode. They are both so dedicated to doing, to completing their missions in this episode with whatever's at hand.
And you kind of see how far they've come since season 1.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So
because Fitz seems a lot more confident than he was in season 1.
A lot more confident.
Yeah.
And at this point, he could be a field agent, like a real, honest-to-goodness field agent.
Yeah. He just needs to learn how to fight.
Right. In season 1, he couldn't.
He needs to go to May and learn how to fight. Yeah.
He was just socially awkward in season 1, and now he could really be out there doing stuff. So, yeah, they're out there. And the one thing that really bothered me was when Yo-Yo was with her friends in Miami, she saved their lives.
And they're ungrateful as all get out. They're all kind of xenophobic about Inhumans.
They gave her up.
Yeah, they did. They're like, oh yeah, it's her. Go,
Yeah, they were willing to let her die.
Totally threw her under the bus.
It was rude. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course the other side of that was.
If I was Yo-Yo, I'd be like, oh, guess what? You're not getting an engagement or the engagement gift.
Right.
Yeah.
At least I don't have to wear heels.
I'm taking my wedding gift back.
Yeah. No.
She did say that. She is like, well, at least I don't have to wear any stupid high heels,
right.
Which I thought was kind of funny.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. So anyway, so all this. Go ahead.
Is Robbie's brother.
Yeah.
Who also is not very empathetic.
Right.
And wants Daisy, if that is her real name, wink, wink,
Wink, wink. Yeah.
to leave his brother alone because he doesn't need that sort of thing in his life.
Yeah, Gabe, Chris from Fear the Walking Dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Who is as big a dick in this as he is in Fear
For the Walking Dead, yeah, exactly. So apparently he's got a character type. He's kind of getting a little typecast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Gabe's not buying her deal and, like, just stay away from my brother. Don't go near him again.
So what's going to happen when he finds out about his brother?
Yeah, exactly. Now, all this stuff with the watchdogs, that ends up going back. We find out that at the end of the episode that this senator, and this kind of leads into our B story, with Nadir being the lowest
of the low.
Of the low, yes. So the senator, Rhoda Nadir, which I kept wondering, is that in like an anagram for something? Because it seems like it should be.
Weird
seems
name.
like it is a weird name. It seems like it should be. She apparently publicly opposes Inhumans and speaks out on TV against S.H.I.E.L.D., saying that, S.H.I.E.L.D's a puppet of Hydra, and now they're the puppet of the Inhumans. And I've got sources, like people are saying that S.H.I.E.L.D. is a puppet of the Inhumans. Right. And I've got sources who say the Inhumans were responsible for the blackouts. But of course, we find out that the watchdogs are reporting back to her about the blackout mission. And she tells them that, I'm at my brother's place, and says goodbye before leaving. And then we pull back and we see that there's a Terrigenesis cocoon in the living room.
Right.
So, hypocrite much.
Right, or else she's mad.
Or she's mad because her brother becoming a Inhuman. Something like that. So, yeah.
Now, she is played by Parminder Nagra from ER and also from The Blacklist.
Oh, okay.
So, I really like her as an actress.
That's cool. So yeah. I'm sure she's going to be a big player in the coming episodes.
However.
And I'm kind of curious what her brother will emerge from the cocoon as.
Right.
Right. So I wonder if it's going to be a notable villain or Inhuman or something. So.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
And how he's going to feel about her crusade.
Exactly.
Because...
it's like, I'm an Inhuman now, and you hate me. Why do you hate me?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So, May There and M reunion.
I'm sorry. That's just the worst.
It's a cute pun. May there and M reunion.
Don't humor me. It's terrible.
I was trying to boost it up a little.
I know.
Okay. That's all right.
So they're deciding.
You got some good ones this week. So
yeah, I know.
Don't.
I'll take the hit.
They all can't be winners.
That's true.
So don't put yourself down.
I try my hardest.
I forbid it. You cannot put yourself down.
It is forbidden.
It is planet forbidden. Genesis is planet forbidden.
Genesis. Wait, that's on the next episode.
Oh yes, Terrigenesis is planet forbidden.
Okay, so May is still out of it, and they need to get whatever thing is out of her brain, or else she's gonna die. And they do that cool thing with the technology that doesn't exist, where they bring the little thing out of her brain to look at it to see what the dealio is.
Mm-hmm.
And they find
the Stark tech.
Right.
Well, that's what it is. It's Tony Stark.
I know.
Tech. Yeah.
They find an overactive part of her brain.
Which again, why don't we have Stark Tech? We should have this. We should have this stuff, right?
Sleep, right?
Yeah.
My life would be easier.
Maybe in about 20 years, we're going to be like, well, hey, we've invented Star Tech. Tony Stark. That'd be nice.
We're doing magnetic stuff on our brains.
I know.
With iodine.
I feel like Dr. McCoy. You know, like in Star Trek 4 where he gets all like mad at the primitive medicine.
Right.
It's like we're back in the Stone Ages or something.
You're still piercing skin with needles? Yeah.
What kind of people are you?
Right. I know it's not piercing skin with needles. That's the only thing I could think of right now.
Right. So anything else with that?
Well, yeah, they try and resurrect her. They can't do it, so they have to kill her and then bring her back. But, in the worst timing ever, an EMP goes off in Washington, D.C. And they can't resurrect her, so they have to use the thing from Ada.
Oh, the LMD technology?
Right. Even he doesn't let her know that Ada exists, but he brings out the technology, and they resurrect May. Now, the question I had about that is she going to have PTSD?
Good question.
Is she going to remember anything? And
Or how is she going to be affected?
Right. And is that thing that they used on her going to do anything to her?
Well, I'm guessing it will.
Right.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have done it.
And the thing on her head as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll find out. Hopefully they don't. Please don't screw up Agent May. She's awesome.
Right. I agree. But to give her PTSD when she was so together, I could see that being an interesting storyline.
Yeah.
Not great.
Well, she was a little down because of Andrew. She's a little traumatized, still getting over that.
Right.
So, all right. Anything else about this episode?
Oh, yeah. And also now, Jeffrey has come out to the public and said that S.H.I.E.L.D. is back.
Yeah. Well, this is after Coulson prods him to do this.
Right. And that everyone needs to work with S.H.I.E.L.D. because these things are going to happen more and more if we don't all work together.
Right. Okay.
So now S.H.I.E.L.D. is back on the map. That's it.
Okay. Rating. What's your rating?
I give it 8 duct tape and paperclip toolkits.
Nice.
Even though that wasn't...
Nice MacGyverism.
Yeah, that wasn't in his toolkit, but...
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
And I give this one also 8, so we're in sync on this one as well. Teragenesis cocoons in the living room.
Yeah, he was gross, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He didn't really look like a person.
He's like an avocado. No.
Yeah, he did kind of look like an avocado. He looked like... You know what he looked like? He looked like a mashed potato statue, like in Close Encounters.
Yeah. Or like Chet in Weird Science.
There you go. That's it right there. Got it in one.
Hi, how's it going?
Exactly.
Anyway. All right. Arrow, episode 2 of the 5th season, The Recruits. Mm-hmm. Written by Speedweed.
I know. I love his name.
And Beth Schwartz.
Beth Schwartz.
May the Schwartz be with you. And directed by James Bamford once again. So pretty heavy on the action in this one.
Yep, and it was.
All right, what's our A, B, and C, Karen?
They put everything on the line. Get it?
Get it? Yeah.
Back to the line.
Back to the line.
Yep.
Yeah, Oliver's like really going after his trainees.
Yeah.
He's
B story from rags to missions.
Nice, very nice.
So terrible, groaner worthy, but hey, I like that better than the other one.
I do too. That's good.
Detective to deputy. Sorry you left the team yet, Dig?
Bratva yada yada. I like that. Bratva
yeah.
yada.
Now, mind you, I like the Bratva story, but I couldn't help but say Bratva yada yada.
I got it. That's perfect. That's perfect. I was trying to come up with some funny thing about Bratva, but I think yours is better.
Okay.
All right. So they put everything on the line.
Right.
So that involves Green Arrow recruiting Wild Dog, Evelyn Sharp, and Curtis Holt, Mr. Terrific,
yes,
as recruits, hence the title, begins training them using an extreme exercise from his Bratva initiation, which of course gets revealed through more flashbacks.
Right.
And turns out that the training session doesn't go really well because, of course, the whole point of the exercise is teamwork.
Right. And they are not a team.
They are not a team because they don't respect Oliver, because they don't know who he is. They don't trust him.
Right.
Like he's just some dude in a mask yelling at us. When?
Go back to the line.
Yeah.
Go back to the line.
So at the end of the episode, of course, after Felicity gets a hold of him, tells him otherwise. Basically, we have to have Felicity telling Oliver that, he's not doing a good job. Nobody likes you.
Training, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, exactly. So Oliver ends up revealing his identity to the other recruits as a sign of trust, and they're like, okay, I guess we'll come back.
Right. And Wild Dog says, can we rethink the name? And Oliver says, not a chance.
Yeah. To be clear, it's a cool name.
It is a cool name.
And like you got like a wild dog on on your shirt there, so you might as well like use
Exactly.
that. Okay,
Now,
and
Lily Sharp is going to be Artemis, right?
yes, she's going to be Artemis. So, which is a nice is a kind of a variation of the Young Justice character Arrowette that Peter David created.
Right. So
But
his sidekick.
yeah, yeah.
Although,
So, but Artemis on the Young Justice cartoon. So, if you know Artemis in the
Right.
Young Justice cartoon, so
but she's just going to be an equal member of the team,
Right,
except for
right.
not an equal to him, obviously, because no one's an equal to Ollie. Of course not.
Of course not. Now, they're go ahead. Anything else?
I was just going to mention from Rags to Missions is that
Yeah.
he kind of recruited Ragman as well.
Yeah. That's kind of like the big main character of this episode. We get Ragman, Rory Regan from the comics, and I thought they did a pretty good job with Ragman.
They did.
And I think he's played by Joe D. Nicole, if I'm not
Sounds
mistaken.
right.
Yeah, and so he starts attacking Amertech executives. Amertech. Now, Amertech is a business from the DC Comics that had connections to none other than Steel, John Henry Irons, in his solo series. So I'm kind of wondering if we're going to see Steel at some point. John Henry Irons, at least. That'd be cool.
Maybe. That would be cool.
Unless he's tied up with Supergirl rights, but still, if they cross over.
Supergirl is here.
If we get Superman, we should be able to get Steel, right?
Right.
Yep. So hopefully that happens at some point. That'd be cool to see
That
him.
would be nice.
Got to make up for that Shaq movie.
Oh, God.
The horrible Shaquille O'Neal movie.
Let's not even think about that.
Yeah, well, it exists, unfortunately.
I know.
But we don't like to pretend it exists.
Right.
All right. So Thea ends up discovering that the Amertech, CEO Janet Carroll was working with Tobias Church, and then Felicity learns that, oh, guess what? It was Amertech nuclear missiles that Damien Dark used to destroy the world, and that Felicity redirected to destroy Haven Rock, which just coincidentally was the city that Ragman was the only survivor of.
Right. So now,
Awkward.
here's the trail I have.
Right.
Amertech.
Yeah.
Now you've got me doing it.
I know. I'm sorry.
Amertech was unloading all of its weapons on the bad guy.
Right.
And then they were going to make their name better by using Oliver's company.
Yeah.
No, the city. The city. Because
because he basically, Oliver makes this deal with Amertech to provide free medical care for Glade survivors.
Right. Okay, so they were trying to make their name better. They were unloading all of their weaponry.
It's all PR thing.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they get uncovered. Ragman knows about it. He is made into this kind of supernatural being because of the rags from some other time.
Yeah, there's a story there.
Right, that were imbued by the nuclear blast of Haven Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Now he is at some point probably going to find out, while he's working with Ollie, that Felicity caused that.
Exactly. Now, Felicity, if you've noticed, is not seems to be still not very affected by the fact that she killed all those people.
Oh, she is.
She doesn't act like it.
Well,
she's
guilty.
She's all quippy. She's still snarky.
Well, whenever they mention it or something happens,
she doesn't seem upset about it.
Guilty about it.
Yeah,
What's she supposed to do?
Unless she's putting on a front.
It wasn't her fault.
Yeah, but she
is putting on a front.
She could have redirected it somewhere that wasn't populated, but
of course she could have, but
yeah.
That's the writers.
And then be really upset about it?
She should blame the writer.
I know, she should. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
Okay, so we have Curtis, Artemis, Wild Dog, Ragman, Ollie.
Yep.
And we might have Dig.
Yep.
And we also have...
I'm sorry. We also have...
deputy mayor.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because Thea, I was trying to figure out what you were going with. So, yeah, Thea decides that Quentin, who's busy boozing it up, would make a great deputy mayor.
Well, it might rehab him,
Yeah,
right?
but alcoholism isn't something you just flip
I
off
know.
like a light switch.
I know.
So
And he's been through this like 5 times.
who thinks this is a good idea?
No one.
I mean, the way they act is like, oh, I know you're like an alcoholic and I know you're having a problem right now, but hey, you can be deputy mayor,
Come
right?
join us.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm sure it'll make everything better because it'll give you a purpose. It's something your dead daughter would have wanted.
Yeah, I know. Rub it in even more, right?
God. I just rolled my eyes at that. I'm
I
like,
did
really?
too.
Really?
But it's a way to keep him on the show and to keep him nearby.
I get that, but,
And that means he's on the team, too.
yeah, I know. But it's just this on and off,
Right.
it just seems really convenient.
Now we have a cop, too.
Yeah.
Felicity's
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, yeah, Felicity's getting like back rubs from this cop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now the question is, what's up with the cop?
I don't know. Is he going to be a bad boy? Is he going to be the big bad? No.
To be fair, he could be Prometheus, but I don't think so.
He could be, but I think that's...
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Tommy.
Tommy Merlin, yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's who it is, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll find out because Flashpoint.
Right.
Yep. Speaking of Prometheus, Church gets end up getting attacked by Prometheus, who wants to kill Green Arrow himself.
Right. And he gets a knife in the back.
Yep.
That's bad.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Bratva yada yada part, which I actually am finding
What about the
interesting.
Diggle stuff?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay, all right.
I'm finding the Bratva stuff pretty interesting, actually. The flashbacks are pretty cool this year. This is the same exercise that Ollie is putting his team through.
Yeah, basically you have to go ring a bell.
Right. Stand on the line and come at us, and if you can get past us and ring the bell, then you're in the Bratva, right?
Yeah.
And the only way you can do it is to work as a team, misdirect, whatever.
Right. And have one of you ring the bell while the others block and take care of the opposing forces.
Right. And if you have ever seen football, it should have been a no-brainer to begin with.
Pretty much.
Right. But in this case, they managed to do it. They see that that Ollie is the one who came up with the idea, so they shoot everyone else.
Well, he rings the bell.
Right. Well, no, he actually says.
Yeah, I know.
We saw that you came up with the idea, so...
Yeah, so they shoot everybody else. So everybody else fails the initiation. You win, so you get to live.
Right. And although they didn't actually come up with that same solution in the present day, he reveals that it was to have them working as a team, and then he reveals who he is, and that's when they decide they're going to work as a team, I guess. And, it's all huggy and lovey and touchy and feely.
Yep.
Okay, and then, sorry you left the team yet, Dig. Yeah.
Diggle's back in the army on a covert operation. Ends up getting ambushed by a superior who plans to sell a nuclear trigger and frame Diggle.
Right. Their mission is to take the triggers so that the Chechenians or someone, they don't get them.
Yeah.
In order to have nuclear armaments or whatever. So his boss is taking them in order to profit.
Right. So maybe you should have just stayed with your your son.
Or with Ollie or whatever. Yeah.
I would laugh if Diggle came back, from the army and is like, wait, you were a daughter when I left. Now you're a son? What's up with that?
That he was in a time bubble over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And he's been befriending this, what is he, a sergeant? I don't know what he is.
Yeah.
One of the guys under him on his team.
Right.
And so in order to teach him a lesson, his CO brings him in and shoots him right in front of Dig. Which is just, come on. Did we really need that?
No, we didn't.
No.
Because we have to have more evil army guys.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's going to push Dig further, so.
Exactly. All right. So anything else about this episode?
No. I just have to say, I am actually liking the flashbacks. So big plus in its favor, and I like that he's gathering his team. It's a solid team.
So, so 3 episodes in, do you think the season's an improvement over last season?
Oh, yeah.
That's not hard, right?
Right.
Well, the only good thing about last season was the Constantine episode.
Right. It's an improvement over the last 2 seasons.
Yep. So let's see if they can keep up the quality.
I agree.
Now, you notice this has also come at a time where Oliver's not involved with Felicity.
Right.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not.
Just saying.
Let's keep it that way.
Let's keep them apart for the sake of the show.
Yeah.
Sorry, Justina, but
I have to say, he's killing people again.
Yep.
And I'm cool with that.
I'm cool with it too.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, moving on. Legends of...
No.
Oh, rating. I'm sorry.
Rating.
Thanks, sorry. You're right.
9 business suit clad show-offs. Because he does the salmon ladder with his business suit on.
Yeah, exactly. Now, of course, he doesn't rip the suit.
No.
He doesn't rip the suit.
Nope.
And, of course, it's a tight-fitting suit to accent his musculature.
Come on.
Yeah. I was a little less generous on this one, just barely. 8.5 bells to ring. Ding!
Yep.
Okay, all right. Now moving on.
Thanks.
Now moving on to Legends of Tomorrow, the season premiere of the 2nd season, Out of Time.
Can I just say right up front before we start?
Yeah.
The most confusing episode of Legends of Tomorrow ever, but
yeah.
Okay, let's go.
It is kind of all over the place, but
not in a horrible way.
Not in a horrible way. It's a fun thing.
It's a fun episode.
I think Legends has decided it wants to be Doctor Who with superheroes.
Yes. It certainly has.
And, that's cool.
And nowhere has it proved to be
than this episode, yes.
More than this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, so teleplay by Mark Guggenheim and Phil Klemmer, showrunners, directed by Dermot Downs. Okay. And Karen, what's our A, B, and C?
A, hey, would you help me?
I like that. That's cute. That was cute. I laughed at that.
Okay, B story, the meaning of life.
Life. Don't talk to me about life. Oh.
Okay, so what is the meaning of life?
42.
Right.
Nice.
And where did they go?
1942.
Thank you.
Well played.
Thank you.
Kudos.
C story, and this is a few, of course. Medieval good times.
Right.
Jacks of all trades.
Nice.
Desperate times require desperate measures. And finding justice in and out.
Nice. Okay, so A story, hey, would you help me?
Would you help me?
I like that one.
So, I think that one's cute.
It is cute. So that's obviously a reference to Dr. Nate Haywood.
That's right.
The future Citizen Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Grandson of Hank Haywood, the original Commander Steel.
Right.
Who, not so coincidentally, shows up at the end with the Justice Society of America.
That's right.
But before all that, he shows up at Oliver's mayor's office, confronts Oliver after getting past security, says, "Oh, by the way, I know you're Green Arrow."
Right. Because
you're really crappy about your secret identity.
Right. And who doesn't know?
Who doesn't, exactly. So he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm an historian who specializes in deductive historical reconstructions," which is simplified to time detective.
Right.
Yeah. So Nate, who, by the way, in the comics was created by Jeff Johns, and he was from Ohio State University here in Columbus.
Nice.
So he's a Columbus boy. So give him a little shout out to Nate.
Very nice.
He believes, or say that he knows some subtle changes to history, believes the legends are responsible, and I guess we're calling them the legends now in season 2, because what else are we going to call them? He believes that in 1942, before the invention of the atomic bomb, one atomic bomb actually went off underwater and may have killed the legends. Dun, dun, dun.
Right. Near New York, and it's 2 years before it was invented.
Exactly.
What? How? Who?
Where? Why? So Oliver and Haywood end up taking a sub that they just happen to have lying around
Right.
into the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of New York, and they find the Wave Rider.
Mm-hmm.
And inside, nobody else is in there but Mick Rory, who's in some kind of weird stasis field inside the medical bay.
Who is ready to fight the minute he wakes up.
Well, that's great.
I love that about
I
Mick.
love that too. So Mick, after he wakes up, he reveals to Oliver, after, of course, they go to this conference room and start kicking back with beers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just down several bottles of beer.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of how many decades that bottles of beer have been. Were they in stasis? Who cares? But so Mick reveals to Oliver and Nate that the
it's fine beer.
Beer doesn't age like wine.
It's Mick.
Okay. So that they find that the team had been warned away from 1942
I like the look on your face.
I know.
You totally laughed at me. I was making a joke.
I know that.
Okay.
I get that.
I know it doesn't age.
All right. I was playing along.
Okay. Have you seen my husband? There is enough beer in him to make a second husband. Okay, I'm sorry.
Some women might like to have two husbands.
Oh,
Ooh.
Is that so?
Maybe.
I don't know anything about that.
Depending on the husband, I guess.
Is that true?
Yeah, and his name's Tyler
Hoechlin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyler Hoechlin, Tom Ellis.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a long list.
It is a long list.
It is a long list, folks. Okay, so where's it here? All right, Hourman, remember at the end of the season finale of last season, shows up and is like warning everybody. But apparently all Hourman did was just show up, warn, say, don't go to 1942, and then left.
Right.
For some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, brand new character that just showed up and crashed Wave Rider, and then that's it.
And then he went off to film the rest of Suits.
We don't know exactly. We don't know why he was in the Wave Rider that crashed. What happened?
Well,
what were the events? Back. Maybe it's all timey-wimey.
He'll be back.
So
Suits
anyway.
is over for right now. He'll come back.
Okay, so we start getting flashbacks. Yeah, Patrick J. Adams. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So we start getting these. We flash back to what happened before. With the Time Masters gone, Rip's team continues traveling through time, dealing with aberrations.
Right. Oh man, do I love the medieval good times.
Exactly. So they learn that there's a nuclear bomb that's going to be exploded in New York City in 1942, believing that the Nazis, and Mick Rory does this great Indiana Jones reset. Nazis, I hate these guys kind of thing.
Right.
So
it's the Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. So Mick gets all the best lines in this episode once again.
He does,
which is always great.
Did you like my impression?
I did like your impression.
Thank you.
That was good.
It's as good as I can get. I can't talk as low as he can.
I'm trying to get through this. Really, I am.
No, that's why I'm doing it.
I know you're messing me up. That's great. So, all right. So he believes that the Nazis kidnapped Einstein and forced him to make them an atomic bomb.
Right. Because it's 2 years early, and Einstein just happened to go missing. So 2 and 2 makes Einstein missing.
Conveniently.
Right. So
or shouldn't that be E equals MC Einstein missing?
Oh.
See what I did there? Little theory of relativity. Gotcha.
That's right.
Boom. All right. So they save Einstein, of course, while Sarah attempts to kill Damien Dark to prevent Laurel's death.
Right.
She's obviously not happy with Damien Dark.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray talks her out of it because Ray's got to be the moral compass of the group.
But not just that, they have to find out what's happening with the Nazis. So if they kill him, then the Nazis will just...
If you kill him, you won't learn nothing.
Right. Well, they won't know what the deal is with the bomb and all that other stuff. So
exactly.
They have to figure it out.
So they realize that the timeline has not changed and learn from Einstein that his partner, Mileva Merrick, is the only other scientist with enough expertise.
That's right.
So they confront Dark again, who's helping the Nazis, because of course, and they save Mileva.
Because Damien.
Because Damien, yeah, exactly. So Damien launches his atomic bomb to New York, on New York, and Rip ends up like sending all of his teammates except for Mick out of the Wave Rider, scattering them through time before he directs it against the missile and saves New York.
Right.
Now, we don't know what happened to Rip Hunter, although we do get a nice little Emergency Protocol 1 from Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Where he kind of says his goodbyes, but I hope to see you all again.
Right.
After I finish filming Broadchurch season 3, but yeah.
So what is their mission for the season?
Or season 4, excuse me.
Hunter.
Exactly. Find Rip Hunter. So I'm sure he'll show up at the season finale.
Of course. Or before then. It might be before then.
Yeah. And now we kind of go back to the present day after Mick is done telling a story, and Oliver decides, well, guess what? I could help you guys, but guess what? I gotta go. I got my own TV show. I got things to do. I'm a mayor.
Can't be sucked in by your drama.
Yeah. So I know this is all important and all, but I can't be bothered. So see ya. Bye.
Well, he was just a vehicle for it.
Yeah. Oh, and I know that Sarah Lance, who I once had a physical relationship or an emotional relationship with, is part of your team and is lost in time, but I can't be bothered. Sorry.
Well, are you really upset that he didn't go with them?
Well, you're there, dude. Why don't you step up? Like if you're going to bring him in and just have him walk away, he doesn't even offer to help. It's like, like something should, like, he goes to help, but somehow he doesn't get on board the Wave Rider or something.
Oh, okay. Instead of wandering off.
He waves like, screw this, we don't need this guy, and they take off.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
But the way they wrote it with Oliver just like abandoning everybody, I thought it was a douchey move.
We don't need Mayor Handsome.
Exactly. Thank you. I like your impression. I think your heat wave is the next
Thea.
Thea. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
We don't need Mayor Handsome. Let's get going. Let's pick up a 6-pack on the way. All right.
Yeah, we need restock.
I drank all that other beer. It was bad, but who cares? It's beer.
Well, hold on. I got to go to the bathroom first because I drank all that beer. I got to take a leak. So Mick and Nate rescue. I got her. I woke her up. I got her. We're getting a little punchy here at the end. So Mick and Nate rescue all the members, and they go through time, and there's some fun stuff. They interrupt like Sarah, who's like hitting on queens and stuff, and getting a lot of action. Oh yeah, she gets accused of being a witch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
you've corrupted all our women. To be fair, they were okay with it.
Yeah, and they're kind of like off to the side, going, "Hey, baby."
Yeah, exactly. Wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
That was pretty funny. So there's some good moments there. So Mick and Nate use Gideon to try and find Rip, but she says she can't, and then that's when they play Emergency Protocol 1. And then at the end of the episode, we have the team being confronted by the Justice Society, while Damien Dark is revealed to be working with
Eobard Thawne.
Eobard Thawne. The Reverse Flash.
So that is Justice in...
Yeah. I was trying to hurry up because we're trying to make up some time here.
Okay.
So we're running low.
And I need to say also that in the flashback, Mick was telling them that Rip was training Jax to fix the Wave Runner. So Jax evolved.
Right. And okay.
I know that he can fix the Wave Runner.
Exactly. So what's your rating for this episode, Karen?
My rating is 8.5 brilliant threesomes. Speaking of which.
Yeah, and there was a lot of those in this, weren't there? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So we're in sync again. I give this one 8.5 empty bottles of beer.
On the wall.
Take one down, pass it around.
Those are all my bottles. Leave them alone.
I love that. That's great.
If you tip them up into each other, they'll empty and you get a free beer.
Yep. So Heat Wave drinking beer never gets old.
Nope.
Nope. Some more of that, please.
Yeah.
All right. Last show, finally. Yay, last show.
Hey, I
well-
love talking to you. Don't celebrate.
I know, but we've been talking a while. I figured everybody's bored by now.
All right. Whatever you say.
Okay, I hope they're not. I hope they're in for the long haul. So
They better be here or they have missed my McRory impression.
exactly, and it's like the new hip impression. So
Right?
all right. So Luke Cage, episode 3. Who's gonna take the weight?
Tonight.
Yep. Written by Matt Owens, directed by Guillermo Navarro.
Guillermo.
Yeah, Guillermo. Thank you. Navarro, the evil offspring of Guillermo del Toro and Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction.
There you go. Nice.
Thank you. So what's our A, B, and C, Karen?
A is come at me, bro. And that's
Yep.
exactly how I wrote it.
Pretty much. All caps,
Yes,
periods in each word.
that's right.
Yep.
B story is yours.
Yeah, you like that one, though.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with one. Searching for Bobby Fish.
That one just popped out, so it seemed like a good
Story
one.
is that means quiero, quiero, which
Yep.
means war. That means
Right.
this means war, but he didn't know Spanish. R.I.P.
They had to get the
his
Spanish dictionary.
right.
Yeah.
And that boy is good.
And you might want to explain that one, that last reference.
Everyone has seen that movie but you.
Okay, well,
It's coming to America, and I swear to God,
I think there's an entire generation that probably has not seen that movie because now we're
it's
old.
not ours.
Okay. No, but everybody younger,
All right.
if they're listening to the podcast, they may not get that
All right.
reference.
It's a line from Coming to America. And please, post it wherever.
Okay, so the Eddie Murphy movie Coming to America.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Everyone has seen it. Everyone.
The next generation after us,
Everyone.
the millennials, have not seen this movie.
Everyone has seen it.
Okay, all right, okay.
Okay, so there's a lounge singer called Sexual Chocolate.
All right, you don't need to set it up.
Okay. No,
If everyone has seen it, what's the point of setting
I'm
it up?
referring, of course, to the guy who's singing,
Yeah.
and that boy is good.
Well, the guy in the audience says that. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Okay.
People know
And,
that.
and Karen played that clip for me just so I would get that reference. So
Right.
kudos to her for that.
And it was funny, right?
It was funny. Like,
At the end of that little scene,
so maybe I need to sit down and watch Coming to America.
you should.
Okay.
At the end of that scene, Eddie Murphy, who plays the lead singer of Sexual Chocolate,
Yeah.
he takes his bows, but the audience isn't clapping.
Right.
And he does it like 4 times, and then he drops the mic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You get a little feedback from the. Yeah. All right. So, come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro. Best fight
Yes.
ever.
Now, this is like a big fight sequence that goes on in this episode.
Oh, man.
And see, I would have called this, bring the ruckus, because
Okay.
the music that was playing during this is basically it's to set this up.
It's the Wu-Tang Clan.
It's the Wu-Tang Clan, bring the ruckus.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really say most of the lyrics because
Ew.
Rob Southgate, our editor, would not find
Please
those
do not
appealing.
say it.
Yeah, but
I could have said many things for this story.
yeah, but I can say bring the ruckus.
Well, no, we always use that. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
I know, bro. So eventually, like Luke, in his now growing feud with Cottonmouth, because after the death of Pop, he finds that the barbershop is facing closure due to unpaid bills, and so he begins targeting Cottonmouth's businesses, so to make it look like a rival criminal lord or crime boss, Domingo Colon, is coming after Cottonmouth.
Right.
So Cottonmouth, in response, brings all of his money to Crispus Attucks, this location where there's only one way in and one way out. And Cottonmouth kind of nicknames Fort Knox because it's so impenetrable, supposedly.
Yeah, there's
So-
bars on the windows and everything.
Yeah. So, after all this, after orchestrating these events, Luke shows up. He puts on his headphones, cranks up the Wu-Tang Clan's "Bring the Ruckus,"
Yeah.
and
Pull the card door off.
and
As
puts
a
on
shield.
his hoodie
Yep.
and just gets busy.
Oh my God.
He goes right into Crispus Attucks, and we get this hallway fight, which is right up there with the hallway fights from Daredevil season 1 and 2, in my opinion. It's up to open to debate about which is the best fight.
I love this fight.
But did you like it better than the Daredevil hallway fights?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
So as far as you're concerned, this is the best ever.
Yes.
I think it's my second favorite after the season 1 Daredevil hallway fight, because that was just innovative.
Okay.
Although I did love the stairwell fight in season 2, so I'm torn.
Okay. The Daredevil fights are more creative.
Yeah. But
And
this is just
artsy.
yeah.
But this was like so visceral.
It's raw.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was raw. I give you that.
So satisfying. Just
It was.
see him go in and mow these guys down.
And because Luke has superpowers, unlike physical superpowers like Daredevil, he is invulnerable, so he can take all these gunshots. He's super strong.
Right.
So he could just mow through all these guys that come at him. They try shooting him, no avail, of course. And there's a great scene I loved in this fight where he picks up a couch and swings it around like a weapon. He clobbers guys with the couch. He's using couch foo.
So great.
And there's this one shot where he just he trashes the guys with the couch, and then the couch goes flying out the window into the street.
Yep. I liked also, he ripped the door off of the car to take it as a shield.
I was just about to mention that, yeah.
And he used it as a shield.
Like Captain America. He's got his car door as his Captain America shield.
But when it became a point where he felt like he wasn't going to use it anymore, he wrapped it around one of the guys and then he pushed the guy into a bunch of other guys.
With it, yeah. And because it's a car door, the guy was just like, oh, it falls over.
Get out of it.
Because he couldn't hold up the car door.
Right. And then he was on top of a bunch of other guys, so they were all like underneath. This guy who had a folded door on top of him was so wonderful. I loved it.
Yeah.
And then he goes into that room and he sees there's 20 guys coming down the hallway. He goes into an empty room and he just goes like this. Come on.
Yeah. Come get me, bro.
Come on.
Yep. Come get some.
Oh, so great.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of fight where I'm just sitting on the edge of my seat and I'm going, come on.
Now this is and this is after, Pop was killed. So you're like, yeah, you're ready for these guys to get some payback.
That's right.
So you're cheering Luke on, and it's great stuff.
This is why this fight was so satisfying, because you just knew, why doesn't he use that anger?
Yeah.
And
well, now he's stepping up.
Right. It was so satisfying.
He's finding himself, and so he gets all this money. Now he doesn't take all the money out of there.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves it there for the cops to find, and with all the bodies. Now there's no dead bodies.
Are you sure?
They made a point of saying there's no dead bodies.
Oh, okay.
Misty makes a point of this.
Remember, I didn't watch all of it.
Oh, that's true, you didn't.
Because you caught me right in the...
Yeah.
There was probably 10 minutes I didn't see.
Sorry, but yeah, Misty makes a point of saying there weren't any bodies.
Okay.
So,
he just hurted him.
Yeah, he hurted him real good.
That's right.
And so he leaves them the money.
He blowed up real good.
Yeah, he blowed up real good. Yeah, exactly. So the cops get the money and the guys.
Okay.
Now Luke takes some of the money though and goes back to the barber shop and gives it to Bobby Fish.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of leads us into our B story, Searching for Bobby Fish, which is a play on Searching for Bobby Fischer, who I'm presuming Bobby Fish was named after, who is a chess champion.
And they were playing chess all the time at Pops.
Yeah, Bobby Fish is the big chess expert. There's a lot of chess metaphors flying around. Mm-hmm. Luke makes this one point of saying, well, instead of going after the king, I'm going to take his queen, I'm going to take his bishops, his rooks, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes at him sideways instead of taking him head on, which is totally the way to play this.
Right. And he takes him completely unawares, which is dumb, because Cottonmouth should have figured out when that money wasn't being taken at those places that someone was setting him up.
Yeah.
But Cottonmouth is not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed.
Well, he has a temper. And he
Right.
doesn't think when he has a temper.
Right.
So, so we got Cottonmouth, just all kinds of upset about it. And turns out, though, that, we've got Scarf, Misty Knight's partner.
Right.
We have a big revelation about Scarf in this episode.
Yeah.
He kind of does the heel turn and reveals that, oh, by the way, he's a crooked cop.
Right. He goes and kills
Chico.
Chico. Thank
Yeah,
you.
kills Chico. Yeah, so
For Cotton.
for Cottonmouth, you find out. Yeah, he's a dirty cop. He goes to confront Cottonmouth, and it says, "Oh, by the way, I took care of your Chico problem, and yeah, Luke Cage is the guy who raided Crispus Attucks."
Right.
So, yeah. So I found that out for you. Cottonmouth, of course, is not happy about this one bit.
Nope.
And in a really unexpected turn of events, we see Luke going to Genghis Khan's at the end of the episode. He gives her some money to pay back, for all the broken, the windows and whatnot, and also his back rent and his rent. And he's like, this is here. She says, where did this money come from? He says, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to make things right between us. And there's a nice little moment between them when all of a sudden, we cut to Cottonmouth on the rooftop across the street.
He blowed up. He blowed up real good.
Yeah.
This time, it really worked.
Really blowed up real good because Cottonmouth pulls out a surface-to-surface missile that he got from Hammer Industries, Justin Hammer, because remember we had that connection set up earlier in the series.
That's right.
And so he's got this weaponry and uses it, launches a missile right at Genghis Khan's and blows it up real good.
The whole building.
Boom.
Yeah.
And it comes crashing down. And that's our cliffhanger. What happened to Luke and Genghis Khan?
I'm guessing Luke is the only one.
Connie Lynn, I should say. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out. I know differently because I've watched episodes 4 and 5.
Stop it.
But I'm not spoiling
Spoil it for me.
I'm not.
Well, now you are spoiling it.
I don't know.
Well, Genghis Khan's is gone, at the very least.
At the very least. So, yeah, the restaurant is no more. It has ceased to be.
It has joined the choir invisible.
Exactly.
And his apartment's gone as well.
Yeah, but this was a really cool episode. Anything else I'm missing about this episode?
My favorite so far. Also, that means Guerrero is the Spanish kingpin.
Right.
Has decided, since he didn't get his weapon.
Well, that was Domingo Colon, yeah.
Right.
Because he shows up at the club and he's eating chocolate bars or whatever.
And dropping everything.
He drops the wrappers and then just in a total disrespect eats half the bar, then throws the other half on the floor.
Right.
Then pulls out another chocolate bar, takes the wrapper off, throws the wrapper on the floor, and then does again, takes a bite out, and then throws the rest on the floor.
Right. Well, it's he knows that Cottonmouth's going to have to clean up after him.
Yeah. I was almost going to do half-eaten chocolate bars.
Were you?
But I forgot, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
my rating.
not just the way to set up the whole, it might be this guy declaring war on him, but also, and I don't know if it's going to come back, don't spoil it for me, but this guy is mad at him because the shipments are being intercepted.
Right.
Of the weapons going back and forth. So, he is saying something to him, and Cottonmouth doesn't understand because it's in Spanish, but he says, "Está bien, está bien."
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
And then Cottonmouth's like, go get the Spanish dictionary.
Right. And so that's why I put that means guerra.
Okay.
It means war.
All right. So anything else?
No, just amazing episode.
It was an amazing episode. It was great. And so I'm guessing your rating was pretty high.
It was.
What was your rating?
9 best fight scenes ever.
Ever. In all caps.
Yes.
I'm right there with you. This is a 9 for me as well. 9 out of 10 surface-to-surface missiles.
Yeah, and I really came very close to
Because holy crap.
9.5. I really came very close to that.
It was a great great episode. So,
Great episode.
so if you gave up on Luke Cage after an episode or two, go back.
Seriously.
Finish it. It's worth it.
Finish it!
Finish him! Yeah, exactly.
This had to have been the most satisfying episode of television I've seen in a long time.
It was, because you just loved to see, like, you felt so bad for Pop, and you felt Luke's rage at losing Pop.
Yes.
So you wanted to see that payback, and you got it.
Right. And now with the missile going off,
now there's going to be more payback that's going to happen. Just imagine Luke after this, because you know Luke's not dead, because he's invulnerable. And he's the hero, and he's got more show. So it's on like Donkey Kong.
The furniture's going to be flying.
More couches everywhere.
That's right. Whole vans. Not
whole furniture stores.
That's right.
Are going to come at him.
Levitzes everywhere.
Recliners. Ottomans.
Yep, side tables, everything.
Coffee tables, yeah. Little wicker baskets.
Armoires, everything.
The whole nine. All right. So I take it we have some feedback from Justina.
We do. We have a feedback from Justina.
Let's hear Justina.
Hi, Karen and Charles.
Hi, Justina.
Superheroes and more superheroes. This is so much fun. So on Gotham, 5 got taken by the Court of Owls, and even though this is an Elseworld, Oswald Cobblepot is mayor again. So I guess some things are consistent in multiple universes. I think Butch is really upset that he chose Ed over him to be his right-hand man. Did Captain Barnes get poisoned blood in his eye? Dumb. It's so exciting. Supergirl was really fantastic.
So cute, right?
I felt like it was a mirror to the pilot episode, because in the pilot, Kara saves the people on the plane with her powers, and now in the season premiere, Kara and Clark together save that spaceship. I think having Clark there added something really awesome to the show without detracting too much from our leading lady. Is Lena Luthor in the comic books, or is she a character invented for the show?
She is in the comic books.
The way that this show puts women in power positions. So Supergirl gets 10 out of 10. Sleeping is for slackers. Because I watched all these shows, and so did you guys. So clearly, this is a true statement. On The Flash, I loved the John Wesley Shipp version of The Flash, explaining to Barry why the timeline can never be fixed perfectly.
Right.
There will always be little tiny differences. They put a fun Easter egg in the 1998 scene of Dawson's Creek being on the TV, because right before John Wesley Shipp became The Flash, he had been Mr. Leary for 5 years of Dawson's Creek.
We caught that.
Showing signs of Killer Frost, I bet Barry will try to alter the timeline again, regardless of the consequences. And possibly he alone could never fix it, but perhaps if they got the Legends involved all together, they may be able to fix it. Although I agree with the original Flash, it will probably never be perfect. Plus, seeing Felicity and some of the little ripple effect in Star City gives this episode 9 out of 10 cracked teacups. I am really super happy with Oliver's character growth. Sure, the old Arrow still shows through from time to time when he gets super stubborn, but in the end, he was real and genuine with his team, and I think that shows real growth. Plus, the flashbacks are relevant. They're showing us stuff that directly connects to the current timeline. So I am loving this season so far. 8 out of 10 health clinics that are bad for your health. I loved having Legends back. It was super fun to visit all those storylines all in one episode to start the season off with a really high energy. We're going to have all kinds of trouble with time this season. Barry Allen caused the time paradox. Now there's a time bandit running around changing things. By the time we hit that 4-part crossover, I don't think we're going to know which way is up. Legends gets 9 out of 10 white canaries that flirt in every era. Ooh, and we have a superhero team-up and a super villain team-up. Damien Dark and Eobard Thawne. Even the villains are crossing.
And more to come.
It's going to be fun. On Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm glad that they found a cure for May. I definitely didn't want to go through too many episodes without Agent May because she's super awesome. And I just knew the Sokovia Accords were going to make some people angry. Can't wait to see how this unfolds. So Supergirl wins the week for me. Have a super week.
You too, Justina. And
Thank you,
Justina, if you're interested, Look up the Injustice Society.
Ooh. Or Legion of Doom.
That's right.
Just saying.
Either of those. Either of those.
But you should look up Legion of Doom.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway. So, that's a nice little spoiler there. So, thank you, Justina. And and I appreciate you. You and I are in sync on those coffee cups.
Yeah.
Or you said teacups, I said coffee cups, but
Dealio.
You know.
Yeah.
Damn good coffee. What can I say?
And hot.
And hot. So, Karen, where can they reach you?
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Oh.
If you want to give us feedback like Justina.
Well, okay. I see what you did there. Okay, if you want, tell us where they can give us feedback at.
Okay. They can email us at fandomzonecast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/fandomzonepodcast. And our Twitter handle is at fandomzonecast on the Twitter machine.
Yes.
We're only like one away from 100.
Are we at 99 now?
I don't know.
I think we're at 98. I think we're 2 away. But hopefully we're 99, but
98.
98, yeah. So we're 2 away. So just 2 more to 100. Come on, there's got to be somebody out there. 2 people we need to like us on Facebook. Help us out. Get us over 100. You could be that 100th person who likes us on Facebook.
And we'll give you nothing but love.
We'll give you a shout out. How's that?
Okay.
We'll give you a shout out right here on the Phantom Zone podcast. Sure. And that right there is worth its weight in gold.
You know what? I'll say your name like Mick Rory or Thea.
Or both.
Whoever.
Yep.
I'll do an impression of whoever you want.
There you go. How can you resist that, people?
See?
All right. So now, Karen, where can they find you?
Where can they reach me? At Aliveria on the Twitter machine, ALEVERIA. And there's a link to in my bio to my blog where you can find all my other links and all that.
All right. And of course, me, I'm at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter machine.
Mm-hmm.
At Charles Skaggs on the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus. And Facebook, of course. And my blog of geeky things, Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about all these comic book shows, and Lord knows there's plenty of them.
I think
and more
right tonight.
Yeah, so 8 shows. We got through 8 shows. Let's give props to that we got through 8 shows. I think that's a record, right? It's up there.
I don't know. It's up there.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. And so I talk about all those shows and more. So I hope you please check us out on that. And I think that about does it. I think we got through that. Karen, thank you so much for your help.
Of course.
And you're great.
And I have to say, please, don't just go to our Facebook page to like us. There is a lot of content there.
There are. Yeah, Karen's been posting pictures, and I post links from Damn Good Coffee there. So
and lots of news. Whenever news comes out, we try to post.
Yeah, and not just TV news, comics on TV news. I post some comics, movies news as well.
And comics
news, exactly.
Regular comics.
Exactly. So all kinds of comic stuff.
And I try and post the promo stuff as soon as I can get it, so you might get some advanced stuff happening.
Exactly. Because Karen has connections.
Oh, stop it with the connections.
Well, you do.
I kind of do.
You kind of do. I think it's a fair comment.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I have some insider connections.
All right. Well, I'm hungry. I want to get some dinner.
I'm going to eat my cookies.
I'm going to go watch the 600th episode of The Simpsons tonight. The big Halloween episode.
I'm going to eat my Batman and Superman cookies.
Why would you ruin those perfect cookies?
I ate all the other ones already.
Well, you got to put those in plastic or something.
No. I took a picture of them.
Okay. Or you got a picture at least. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Christy would want me to save them. I think she wants me to enjoy them.
Okay, well, go enjoy your cookies.
I will.
Go enjoy your cookies. I'm going to go enjoy my dinner and The Simpsons.
Have a good one. And
we will next time on the Phantom Zone podcast.
That's right.
Bring the ruckus.